Nothing changes. It's the same. It's the same. People
And
jump in and
like
out too.
fireworks and,
Yeah, I know. Well, there's a good intro bit I'll play, which will feel official. But YouTube lives are fun because like sometimes people pop in. It's like, I mean, I don't stream too much at night, so I don't even know who in my community is up at this time. Like this is probably 10 o'clock at night my time. What time is it over there?
Yes. It's like midday. It's 1 p.m. in the afternoon. So
Yeah.
on the Saturday. So
What time did you wake up? Were you an early riser?
Yeah, now that we have a puppy, I have to be. He gets up at like 1:15. What does he do? Anytime between 5:30 and kind of 6:15. So
Oh no.
Yeah,
Absolutely
I feel like I've had another baby. Seriously.
Oh my goodness.
Like, you're just going to bed then.
I went to sleep last night at 6 a.m. It is fucked right now. Like that is bad.
Crazy.
6 a.m. is probably the worst it's ever been. I don't know. I get into sometimes I'll stop working and I will just like be like, okay, like it's like 1 a.m. I should go to sleep by 2, no problem. And then like next day I know it's like 4 and I'm like, oh, I'm tired, but like I want to I feel like I'm being productive or something on my phone. And I just like tell myself that. Next day I know it's 5:30 and I'm like, okay, I really need to go to bed. And then I'm like, all right, what's like the first commitment I have tomorrow? Like how early do I have to wake up?
No.
Oh God.
I saw before you're on one of your TikToks, you're like, oh yeah, I went to bed at like 5:15 and it's now 5:55 or something. So you literally had, whatever, 45 minutes sleep or whatever it was. So yeah, not cool. I don't know how you do it.
I don't know. I think I'm 24. I was like, screw it, dude. I'll just be unhealthy for like 10 years. I'll pick it up once I'm 30. I'll pay attention to my health more. Like sleep is the one factor I can't get. Everything else I can do. I can do the exercise. I can do the mental stuff. I can do everything else. But it's like sleep is like actively don't do anything. And I'm like, bro, what? It's like the opposite of what I need to be doing, you know?
Yeah. Is that because you've got too much on your mind? Like you thinking like, I've got to do this, I've got to do that, I want to do this, and you're just a night owl, so you just get it all done. Like if you're anything
I get a lot
like me,
done.
I'm a complete procrastinator, and I work really well to like a tight time frame. So I'll leave it. Like I was one of those kids that just crammed. You know what I mean? At the last minute before a test and stuff, I wasn't really good at like just pacing myself over time. I'd go, oh crap, we've got a thing. I've got to get this done now. And so I'd like jump in at the last minute and I'd always do my best work. So that's always. Like that staying up at night. It's like, oh, well, this is due tomorrow. Oh, I better do it now.
Yeah. So, it's also like most people in my community are sleeping around those hours. So it's like, there's no real distractions. Like I can refresh Twitter as many times as I want. Nothing's going to be there, And so I can just be like, okay, well, I guess I'll just knock out this video real quick. And then like, I'm already being productive. And I'm like, oh, let me just knock out this video too. And then I'm like, oh, I might as well just like add captions to every single TikTok that I haven't edited yet. Next thing I know, it's like literally 5, but not every day is that productive. Most of the time it's just me sitting in my bean, like watching mindlessly, like whatever on my phone. It's miserable. But anyways, guys, welcome to the Joyage Kingdom. I'm not sure what episode this is, 100 something, at least 100, maybe 109. I think, episode 109. Welcome to the Joyage Kingdom. I'm Cage, your guide, your place to live by Cedra for now, giving you a break from the constant internal monologue that is, oh my God, I don't even remember my intro. I literally don't even remember my intro, but either way, click the like button, subscribe to the channel, join the kingdom. It depends on like what platform you're on. If you're on TikTok, you can't really subscribe to the YouTube channel. I would suggest going to the YouTube stream so you can see who I'm interviewing today. We have Lisa, NFT artist, author, content creator, NFT artist, and a whole lot of other things. And my friend and Aussie. And there's like the 4th or 5th person from Australia I've interviewed, and we're just keeping the thing going.
That's awesome. It's awesome. The Aussie train. Keep it going.
Hell yeah. Were you part of those things? There was a bunch of Twitter Spaces and things going on.
No, so you mentioned that to me prior, and I was like, what is he talking about? What did I miss? I was literally off TikTok, off Twitter for like a week and a half. But I swear to God, the space, so much happens. You jump back on and you're like, what's going on? Like so much has happened. So tell me, what happened? Did these communities kind of jump together to
I'm not quite sure what like sparked it originally. I just know it very quickly picked up. Like Voltura, one of the biggest NFT people from Australia, he's the founder of Psychedelic Anonymous. He like tweeted something about like Australia needs to band together, something along those lines. And dude, y'all just were like, yes. And everyone just started doing Twitter Spaces with like hundreds of people, like a couple NFT projects, I think that are Australian based, blew up or something like that. And actually I know like everyone's talking about them, and it was just funny to watch. Like I've never been in a space where everyone's Australian.
Well, of all the times for me to be off bloody Twitter, for that to happen, oh my God, I have been not crying, but I've been, saying for the last 12 months, where are all the Aussies? Where are all the Aussies? Like we need to find it. We're lagging. We really need to start to, bring things together and get together. And and then that happens. Oh, maybe that's what I need to do. Maybe I need to leave Twitter more often, and then, you know, good stuff happens. That's right. I'm gonna see if I can find those tweets and stuff that you're talking about, and maybe,
I do that. I find myself doing that every couple of weeks. I'll have to dig through my Twitter and I'll type in my name and I'll type in some keywords that I think maybe I put in a tweet like 7 months ago. And I find them a lot of times. If I need to like go back for receipts or something, and I'm like, I know goddamn well I said that, you know, and I gotta like dig through Twitter, I usually can find it. It can track back pretty well.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, the search function is pretty good. So yeah, I will. I'll go back and have a look and see what I've missed. So yeah, I can play catch ups and try to make some more connections. So I have met a few Aussies in the space, which has been great. Like, you know, most people seem to be either in Melbourne or the Gold Coast, so up in Queensland. And so I'm kind of in the middle of those two. So I kind of, you know, it's like 15 hours that way, 8 hours that way.
That's far.
Yeah. Drive, but yeah, that's But you know, it wouldn't be that far to hop on a plane and get over there. But it's still in my head that I really, really, really want to come to NFT in New York next year. But you know,
I'm very interested to see what that's going to be like. I don't know. Like when I went to NFT Seattle, it was very different vibe, but also like very high energy, and I felt like it was cool because like it was we're still in such a beginner space, and like we're in a bear market, so like everyone's excited because they know everyone there is like really about it because we're still here, and there's like everyone for the most part is left except for the people who are backsies. So it was fun. It was really cool. I met some really interesting people. I went up to go speak to this girl with like a nice dress on just to say hi because I was bored or something, and she ended up being like creative director for Vayner or something like that. Just like the most bizarre shit ever. And I was like, wait, what just happened? Like those are the things that happen though at these in real life events.
That is so cool. And that's the thing, like you never know who you're going to be speaking to or rubbing shoulders with. Like, you know, I think I told you that when we had an NFT Sydney event, I was like, yes. And I went up to that and just sort of ended up talking to heaps of people that were on the panels and things. And it just makes you realize, you know, all this, we're just all people, you know, and everyone's really approachable. And yeah, it's been awesome. So I felt kind of the same, not rubbing shoulders with anyone from, you know, like with what you just saying, but yeah, just meeting people who are like, oh my gosh, actually I know that guy's photography, it's awesome, and he's right here having a chat with me about, you know, what he does, and he's asking me questions about what I do. So yeah, it's great. I think even though sometimes it's really easy to get caught in that bubble and think everyone knows NFTs, you know, you don't realize you're in the bubble. Everyone knows what an NFT is. Everyone understands Web3, and gosh, look how much we've expanded in the last 12 months. You actually it hasn't that much yet. You know what I mean? Like when you think about it in terms of the population, not a lot of people know about it yet. So as you said, we are still sort of in our baby days, in our infancy. So which is a great place to be, because I've never been part of anything that's kind of like pioneering. I'm always the last. I know I've said to you before, I'm always like the last person to the party or the last person to get the joke. So it's like, oh, I actually am part of something where I can help create and shape the kind of narrative and the way this moves forward. So yeah, it's super cool.
Indeed. And speaking of NFT things, you got some NFTs out here. I own a lot of them. Probably that you've put out, I probably own one. And it looks like, is this really the only one listed? Hold on.
Oh, that's the last one.
Oh,
that
holy
is
shit.
Yeah, I think so.
Wow, you got some diamond hands.
I think a couple of Mother Urbans are back on the secondary market, but they're like, I have to say, Kate, and at the time when they went back on the secondary market, I was like, really? 20 sol or 10 sol? I was like, no way, that's not going to happen.
You're right. I did see that. Hold on, how do I get to the other collect? Oh, here it is, Mother Urban. Hold on.
Yeah.
Here we go. So this is the one I missed. So I will be looking to snipe these. That's fucking nuts. 10 sol, 20 sol for the cheapest buy-in for this first collection. It's awesome.
Which is super cool. Either they have a crazy amount of faith in me to think that, you know, that can go ahead, which is awesome, or they're, you know, I don't know.
I think this is Sydney's. Didn't she buy number 1? Do you remember? She either bought number 1 or like a gold one. I forget.
No, she's got number 1. Hang on, is that the one? Oh.
What?
Is that one back on? Oh, no, I don't think. I thought it was a glitchy one that was on.
I don't remember. I don't know. Either way, I mean, I
need to check that out. You know what? It's so weird. I've actually noticed that sometimes when I go into my collection, other people's stuff is in my collection. Like I've got, Yep, I've noticed
What?
Brooklyn stuff in my collection, and I've noticed Sydney stuff in my collection before, and I was like, "Huh?"
Oh,
I don't know
that's
if it's
weird.
some crazy glitch or what, but I don't know. I'm gonna check that out. Thank you. And if
Yeah.
Sydney's put it on the secondary market, that's cool. That's awesome.
No, it says not listed.
Oh, right. Okay, yeah, so she got number 1. That's right.
Yeah.
There was
Yep.
another
Yep.
one that kinda looks similar to that, same kinda colors, but it's got, like, a
Mhm.
glitch effect over it, and, yeah, I think that's the one that's on the secondary market at the moment, so,
Yeah.
yeah.
God,
Yeah.
I TikTok fan. I'll be back in 2 seconds. I'm gonna pull up my Phantom wallet just so I can show the peeps the ones in my wallet, because there's also an extra one that's not listed there probably that people can't find.
Yes.
I want my phone unlocked. There we go. So there's one in here that you made me that is
Yeah.
fucking insane. I love it's like the coolest thing ever. Because guys, you gotta realize this is like one of your favorite artists saying, "Hey, I'm gonna make a custom piece for you of you," and then sending it to you. Like, this is the coolest thing. Thank you for this.
You are so welcome.
I love it. And
I love
then
drawing that. That was heaps of fun.
yeah, that's my whole
I know,
collection.
that
So
is, like,
these are
my
all the
favorite
NFTs.
shot.
God, beautiful. I mean, it's kind of missing one. Maybe I should grab something else
That is,
coming
like,
up soon.
my favorite shot of all time. You own you absolutely own every piece that I have made in terms
No,
of art.
it's the
Like,
Mother Urban. I'm gonna get it though. I will get it at some point.
oh,
But it's the
yeah,
only one I'm
sorry.
missing.
Yeah, yeah. It's all good. No pressure, no pressure.
No pressure. Someone's gonna buy it. They're gonna be watching this. By the way, if you guys want to check out her art, the links are down below. I believe it's like your link tree or whatever you use for link tree. All her stuff is down below in the description if you guys want to check it out. Because it's cool shit. It's like really, really, really good art. And I remember when I first was kind of building my brand out, you know, we were all kind of doing that at the same time. Like when I started doing TikTok, it was probably like maybe September or something like that. I forget, of last year. And I was like really big on the artist stuff in the beginning, especially because it was just so fun and new. And I remember like I was gonna do like the Joyage Kingdom art exhibition, which I still want to do. I just need more like time and like people and manpower probably to do something like that, because I want to do something for artists. I love it. And I remember envisioning being like, oh, like I wish I could somehow create an environment where we can incorporate all our NFT friends, because some of them are just like so damn good at drawing stuff.
I know. I know.
I love it.
I'm always in awe. Like, still, when I watch Sydney on TikTok and the stuff that she's doing with her physical art at the moment, I'm just like, oh, and she's just like, oh, drawing a day. Same with Han, you know, Hannah Stella. I don't know, you would probably know Han.
I
Yeah,
think so.
she's just like, she's unreal. She's just like, oh, you know, I'm going to fill up this notebook. I'm going to do an art piece a day. And I'm like, what would take me days? Because I am serious, like, I don't know how to put it, not procrastinator, but I change my mind a million times. So like I probably have 3 versions of Cade on my Procreate. Like, serious. I'm like, no, I like that t-shirt color, but no,
Oh my God.
actually the background needs to be this. So I change it, and then I look at and I compare and I go, okay, well, actually this is the one I'll go forward with. So it takes me ages. I stuff around forever, like just with little patterns and little tiny details. Whereas other people who produce this most beautiful work are just like, yeah, just pump that in half an hour, like pump that out in half an hour. I'm like, that's not me. It takes me ages.
That's how it is on TikTok too. Like the best videos are always like the ones you don't put any effort into. You're like, bruh, really? Really? Now it's YouTube Shorts though. That's the one that's been happening for me. TikTok barely does anything for me anymore, but
really? So YouTube Shorts is popping off for you? Like, it's doing well?
Yeah, you should repost everything on TikTok. Like the watermark doesn't even matter. I had a video hit like 55,000, and it was like it took me I think 20 seconds to make the video, and I was like, "Are you serious?" And like I did it again with the same video, just like different text. Got like 25,000. I was like, "What is this? My God, YouTube's just like pumping all this content out there."
That's awesome. So did you make that on TikTok and then just put it across, or did you make it on Shorts?
I made let's see. So I made basically the whole video, and I uploaded them separately, so just YouTube and TikTok at the same time, basically. But I like added it. I already had music. It was already edited with the captions and stuff from third-party apps, and then I uploaded that into TikTok as like a final video, and I just repost it. So, but yeah, no, it's a great platform to be on, and that's a great place to start for like marketing too.
Yes. Yeah. I have so I have YouTube. I have, you know, I've put a couple of things on Shorts. I'm sort of like trying to categorize them. So I don't know if that's the right thing to do or not. You know, I'm going, okay, this is the ones to do with NFTs. This is the ones to do with like Procreate. This is to do, but you don't necessarily have to do that either, do you? You can just kind of repurpose all of the videos that you create.
I post everything. I post everything.
great. Okay,
Because
I
yeah,
should
it's
be
more about
doing that.
personality. Because like you know how like we both have had all the NFTs we made sell, which is fucking cool. That's actually like really cool to say out loud. And it was basically following the same rules that we've been all talking about since the very beginning. It's just like the people who actually did it, all our friends basically like all applied those things, and like everyone sold it out. And I was like, everything like this is all working. This is really cool, and it's fairly simple, you know. And there's not much to it other than just sharing things and sharing your art and talking about it.
Well, that's right. And it's being just authentic, like being yourself, sharing your ups and downs, sharing your art, your process, and I think just connecting. So it's not just always about you putting stuff out there either. It's actually
Hmm.
jumping onto other people's profiles and in their
Yeah.
pages and connecting that way. So I think
Hmm.
that's important as well, sort of building that those relationships as well with kind of like-minded people. So
Yes.
yeah, no, that's for sure. So I think the more you can share, the better. I'm not always great at it. Sometimes I feel like maybe I kind of go, oh, I don't want to be too like salesy. But I think there's so many ways
Yeah.
that you can
Yes.
share what you do without coming across sleazy salesy. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? You can do it. And again, like the same thing you were saying before, those are the videos for me that tend to do the best. Is like when I'm
Hmm.
sharing something that I'm doing, or I'm educating someone about something that I'm doing and learning. So, like for instance, when I started learning Nomad Sculpt, I
Hmm.
shared a couple of videos on TikTok of that and what I'd learned, and those ones went gangbusters. So, gangbusters for me. Someone like Sydney or Brooklyn would probably go, oh, yeah, that's not gangbusters, but it was gangbusters for me. So it was good. Yeah. And, lots of interaction and engagement on those kind of posts as well, which is awesome. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. No, it's the NFT art. I also struggle with that. Like only very recently did I kind of accept sales as like part of
Yeah.
like life, I guess. Like sales was really hard to like come to terms with because I was like, it's so like scummy feeling, like to sell like this. But then I started like change like the way I looked at it. And it's more just like about like framing how you present the information rather than like trying to be scummy or something. Like you just kind of like lead with a different angle. Like for example, like with this title, are you trying to sell NFT art? Follow these steps. It's gonna get an initial interest into the video. And it's like kind of cheating because like we are going to break it down, but like we're not going to talk about that for an hour and a half. Like that's going to be part of the conversation. Like hopefully the entire conversation with as like context for like that few minutes of like super high quality content is usually how it happens. That's why I like kind of talking for like an hour and a half. Like usually you're going to pull out 5 to 10 to 20 clips even just of like gold nuggets here and there, and like those are amazing because people can see you, hear you talk, and then they're like, oh, like Lisa's got art, like I'm gonna go check it out. Hopefully that happens today.
Yeah, well, I hope so. Thank you. That'd be awesome. Yeah, but no, I totally agree. I think the more you can, as you say, like if you can put it into short bursts of content that people can, is digestible and easy to understand. And again, with coming back to the sales stuff, like I think that's one of those things that you don't realize. Like, and again, I think I've told you this before. I sort of fell into the NFT space. So, but you do come to the realization that you are running a business. Like you're starting a business, you are a startup. So you need to have an understanding of that, I guess, the business aspect of things as well. And you can't just ignore that sales.
Yes.
A lot of us
Yeah.
to say, "Oh, I'm just creating art for art's sake." Well, yeah,
Yeah.
I love doing art,
We're
and
just scared. That's what it really is. We're just scared. Like I was
yeah,
scared. That's why I didn't do it.
yeah, absolutely, yeah, that's right. And you don't want to come across as like, "Oh, will I lose?" Will I lose people, and will they not be interested if I come across as
Right.
talking about my art and letting people know it's for sale? But no, I think, as you said, it's all in the way you do it. And you see so many people who are crushing it, making people really aware about what they do, that they are sharing all those things and they're celebrating their successes. And I think genuinely people in this space are happy for others and they'll celebrate along with them. And,
Yes.
I think it's an investment in the person as well when you go and buy someone's art or an NFT, or I think you're at the end of the day investing in the person and potentially even in their future. So
Mhm.
yeah, it's the more you can kind of get out there and let people know what you do, the better. So,
Yes.
and you've
Yeah.
done amazingly at that, because seriously, I've seen you when you jumped on TikTok, Cade, like you have just gone pew in terms of the amount of content, the quality of the content, the amount of engagement that you get, and like your followers. It's so cool. So
Thank
congratulations.
you.
It's awesome to
Thank
watch.
you. I love doing TikTok's like really, really fun to me.
I love it
It's
too.
like a game almost. Like you just post random stuff, like you don't know what's gonna happen, like random connections we met. And like you just find the most random videos on TikTok and the most random collaborations and connections. Like I always talk about with Bryce, how he became my head community manager. He just literally like jumped in a TikTok live and like made fun of me or something. And then I thought he was funny, or I forget what it was. And for some reason I slid into his DMs and then we became friends, and then he became head community manager. He's gotten himself into like some crazy different circles and stuff. Partially due to that, and literally just the power of TikTok. We met through TikTok, and now if I come to Australia, there's probably 5 other TikTokers from Australia that I know, and a couple of YouTubers, a couple of founders of projects. It's like, man, I'd have a fucking party up there. Like it'd be fun.
It's an international party. Sure. Like, and that's the same for me. Like TikTok was the first place that I jumped into. That's where I discovered NFTs. That's where I made the connections with my community. And it'll always be my favorite. Like I do love Twitter for different reasons, but I think I feel like TikTok is kind of where I made most of my connections and where it all started. And then we move over to Twitter. You know what I mean? And keep the conversation going over there maybe. But yeah, TikTok is where I met people, where I yes, oh God. Where I started. What are you looking at on my TikTok?
Oh yeah. No, I'm just going through it just to show that she's super consistent, posts funny videos. Your lip syncing's on point too.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I don't know. It's
Love it.
yeah, it's fun. I just love it. That's what I love. The thing about it is that you can educate, short bursts. You can entertain, so you can do funny stuff. Like, hello, you do exactly that. You do heaps of funny stuff as well.
Yes, I love it.
Yeah, it makes it's great. Yeah, you can entertain, you can educate, you can make people laugh, by entertaining them with, the lip syncing or the trending or whatever. But I think if you can always tie it back to what your passion is and what your messaging is, then and that's a form of creativity in itself. Because sometimes you see some of these trends and you think, how's that? How can I use that? Like, that's an awesome trend, but how can I kind of leverage it to get the message about Web3 or NFTs or how I'm feeling at the moment out there? And yeah, I really enjoy that aspect of it. So yeah, it's heaps of fun. And taking those little videos, it doesn't have to be, and this is the other thing I think is out there around TikTok, is that people feel like it needs to be perfect or that they're embarrassed to get on the camera. But like, it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to take you 2 hours to create one video. It can if you want it to, but it can be a really short, people like to see behind the scenes and understand what's happening in other people's lives, I guess. We're all a bit nosy like that, aren't we? Like,
do you think there's one kind of content? Yeah, no, exactly. Do you think there's a specific type of content that like is more effective at get people to be like, oh, like I wonder what art style, like I wonder what art they have, like I kind of want to buy. Like, do you notice it when you look at other people's content that there's some that are more, I don't know, like just leave more of an impression on you?
In terms of what they want to buy or what they want to make?
Maybe specifically for like NFTs. If they're talking about an NFT, or that they're like marketing for their NFT project or their NFT art, they're trying to make some sales. Like, is there a kind of content that you enjoy where like, oh, that makes me want to buy it more, like a voiceover with a sketch, or like,
Yeah, I love the process. I love watching the process. Absolutely. So it'll be those videos where, someone's creating it, or they're talking about their idea and then they're doing a sketch, and then, you end up seeing the finished product. But the favorite part for me would be the storytelling that goes around the art. So what's the story behind this piece? Why are you creating it? Like, what does it mean to you? Because I can almost guarantee that in any art, and this is one thing that I try really hard to do as well in my art. All art does for me that I create comes from either a memory, it's got, a feeling, it's got some sort of emotion attached to it for me. And then I guess it can tell a little bit of a story as well. And that fascinates me when I look at other people's art and I'm thinking, I wonder what they were thinking. Like, I wonder, what does that little detail mean? And why did they put that there, and why did they choose those colors? And so it's that storytelling, I guess, that sits in behind the actual finished art piece that I'm really interested as well in. And for me, I try to tell a story through most of my art. People, and everyone will get something different out of it anyway. I could sit here and tell you what all the elements of all the different artworks I've created mean to me, but they might mean something completely different to you. So sometimes I love to share that story, but I don't always want to give too much away either, because I don't want to sort of taint someone else's idea of what they think they're seeing. So, art can mean so many different things to so many people. So yeah.
Yeah, I have a two-pronged question about that actually. Like, so
Sure.
for someone who doesn't have any inspiration behind it, they're just like, I don't know, I just drew it. Like I've had that before where I asked like an artist, and they're like, I don't know, no thoughts behind it. And
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, like how would they go about marketing if they don't have the story? If it's just like, oh man, like this is just really good art. I don't know what else to say. Like there's probably a way you could do it, like maybe the way you present it as art.
Yeah.
Like I'm
Yeah.
not sure. What do you think?
I think again, it probably wouldn't. They wouldn't necessarily have to tell the story. Like I do see sometimes I watch lives of people just creating, and all they're doing is practicing. Like they've got a piece of
Mm,
art there that might be like a master painter, and then they're just trying to replicate it. And to watch their process is fascinating to me. And and I learn stuff through that as well. I'm like, oh, I never would have thought to put those, oh, that's how they make that. Oh, that's how they make that look like it's reflecting like
mm,
that. So I think yeah, it doesn't have to have that story. It can just be about the process. So, how did you create this? And it doesn't have to have necessarily a why behind it. I guess mine just does, but yeah, I think it's more around the process because I'm always fascinated to understand people's artistic processes because then I might be able to. I'm learning, and I might be able to next time I take that back to my art, I'll be able, oh, okay, I'm going to try that technique now. So learning new
yeah,
techniques, I think, yeah, for me is important. So
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, totally. And there's different ways to make the content. Like I know there's a guy I follow. He's a tattoo artist guy, but
yeah,
he does all his art on Procreate. And so he basically says, "Hey, I'm a tattoo artist. Tell me stuff to draw." And so he started making a bunch of those videos, and they started to pick up, and like people started like leave like, "Hey, do this, do that, do this, do that." So he just replied to
yes,
each one that he wanted to do, and he basically does this, and like it pops up like here's the comments, and then it's like cool music, and it's like boom, 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 and like
I
five
love
different
it.
pieces of his art. I'm like, man, you could sell this as like a Adobe Photoshop extension kind of thing, or like you get like this free thing or like whatever. But basically, you could make it like an NFT, like a digital product, And I was like, that would be a great way if he's just like, yeah, there's no meaning, it's just the art, I guess. Like that's
Yeah,
one way to sell it. It's the way you package it. And people are like, wow, that's a fucking awesome tattoo, and it's a Procreate, and I can have ownership of it. That's cool. And I think that's one way to do it. And then the other question was, oh yeah, what are your thoughts on NFT art that's like one of one versus ones where it's like where you have like I don't know what you call
PFP
like
or
no the ones where there's like five of the same art piece in the collection. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Like what
Yeah,
like
yeah.
why did
So
you do one
all
of
the
one, I
art
guess?
looks the same. So I have to say I've done both. So Mother Urban was a collection where the original art piece was number one, and then I did
Mhm.
different colorways for the others. So it was the same piece, just different colors.
Got it.
Then so that was my first dabbling into NFTs. Then my next one is My Heart on the Sea, and I did
Mhm.
5 only, and they're all exactly the same. So you have one of those.
Mhm.
And I only did 5 because I sort of had that same thought. I was like, I could do this as a one of one, or I could just still kind of create a bit of that uh exclusivity in a way, or people wanting it, a bit more, hopefully more people be interested because there's only 5, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So 5 of those, and then my next one was sort of some the same and some different. So I think way I did my last set, my last collection, uh, learning to fly. So you also have one of those.
Mhm.
Is I put little Easter eggs in some of those, and you have one of
Yeah.
those. And what I did is I tiered it. So I went, okay, like I'm going to make these 10, well, sorry, yeah, these 10 look the same and they'll have the most basic kind of background. Then I'll do these 10 and they'll be, the same, but I'll do a different background. It'll be a bit more colorful, a bit more jazzy. The utility will be the next step up. And then
Yeah.
the next tier up is like, okay, these are animated. So they're moving. My voice
Mhm.
is over top of them. And, you get the next level of utility. So
Yeah.
it's kind of, so that I thought was I enjoyed doing that as well. So I kind of got the best of both worlds. I didn't have any one of ones in there necessarily, but I have to say, I'm actually starting to kind of go towards maybe just doing one of ones. So,
Yeah.
for instance, recently dropped a poem with an art piece on Soul Type, and it's a one of one. And I just thought,
Mm.
yep, I just want to get it out there and, um, it creates that, like, again, that it's exclusive. You've got the only one that exists. And I have to say, from a buyer's perspective, I love it if it's a one of one, because then I own the only one, you know, that looks like this. Yes, okay, I know we all have ownership separately, you know, of our NFTs, but I own the only one that looks like this. So I'm kind of leaning that way now. But again, I feel like there's a lot of merit in, you know, it really depends on what you do. I'm just always, I think for me, I'm always going to be a bit of a, probably a smaller collection artist. Like, I'm not going to do big generative collections necessarily, but I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't say never, you know, I should never say never. So, yeah. Sorry, did that sort of answer your question?
Yeah, no, it did. I was just wondering, like, what the thought process was, because some people do the one of one, some people like generative, some people like doing like 5, some people like doing 50. Like Sydney, I think, did 50 or 20 or 50 satellites. I forget which one it is. And I picked up I was a whale at one point, actually. It felt weird to like sell her art, so we ended up doing like really cool collab videos and doing giveaways. I don't know if you remember, but we, like, for the Joyage exhibition, I remember I gave one away. I think me and Sydney did a YouTube video together in California. We gave one away there. There was some other collab thing, challenge or something that we did that I'm pretty sure I donated one of those too. And that was way cooler for me, especially during that time when we were getting so many artists onboarded. That was so fun, because we literally were like torchbearers. We were like, leading the charge, you remember?
Exactly. You guys were like pioneering and leading the way. And I think
no, you were there with us. You were leading with us.
I was, but you know, Sydney was the first person I came across. She was that actually introduced me into NFTs. So it was like I jumped in, and so I was really looking at what she was doing, you know, and thinking, okay, so I need to maybe a smaller collection. Although, admittedly, I did start a large collection originally, because even though I'd seen NFT, so I even though I'd seen Sydney, and that was where I found NFTs, the more I sort of did my research, the more I discovered that, you know, there's a lot of big PFP collections out there, and maybe that was, to me, I thought, oh, that must be kind of more the way you do it. Like, I'm seeing more of these big collections than smaller ones. And so I started creating like these cockatoos, you know, like the birds, cockatoo NFTs, and all different. It was taking me ages. And that's then how I ended up doing Mother Urban, is because I started doing these birds, and I was sort of posting a little bit about them, and I wasn't really getting, and again, I was creating something that wasn't necessarily coming from my heart, that I thought would be on trend, you know, birds, they're the people like birds, I'll do something about birds. And it wasn't really coming from a place, like, it wasn't my heart art. It wasn't coming from an emotion or a memory or whatever.
Was it just to capitalize on the money, or just opportunity, or just like excitement?
Yeah, I think it was excitement. I think it was just like, oh, I need to create something. I know how to draw birds, and I'm going to draw all these birds. And I just started going through this, you know, big rabbit hole of, like, down this rabbit warren of, I need to draw birds, and I love to draw them. So I'm going to do, you know, this big collection. And when I say big, it's not thousands. I was going to only do maybe like 100 or 150.
Oh, okay.
That would have been my first, and they would have all been different. So that would have been my very first collection. But once I'd shared that, and started sharing it, I was like, yeah, I don't know, this feels okay. Then I was going through my Procreate folders, and I'd just done Mother Urban, actually, and that was actually never going to go anywhere. I never had any plans to share Mother Urban or My Heart on the Sea. They were never going to see the light of day. They were just for me. Yeah, so and then I don't know what came over me, but I felt brave, and I was like, maybe I should just share on Twitter my Mother Urban and just see what happens. You know, and I just shared it. I don't know what sort of enticed me to do it, but I thought, oh, I'll just share it and see what happens. And if people like that style of art, maybe I can do something else in that sort of style. And yeah, I got a lot of like, yeah, this is awesome. I love this. What is this? And I was like, oh, okay. So it ended up meaning that I took a step back and I pivoted away from the birds. And I was like, well, actually, maybe I should use Mother Urban for my first NFT collection, because I know that people kind of like it, and it wasn't even about people really liking it. I mean, that was important, but the most important part for me is that I felt really vulnerable sharing that. I felt really vulnerable, because it had been you wouldn't look at that art and go, oh yeah, that's Lisa's heart on a plate. You wouldn't know that. But it's,
Sure.
to me, when I look at it, it kind of, it takes me to all kinds of places. And I'm like, if I share that, like, but then I thought, you know what, stuff it. That's the kind of art I actually love to create.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of art that I can completely go into the zone when I create. And whoa, are you there?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, my thing just jumped out. Sorry.
Oh,
Okay.
I can still see you and hear you.
Oh, great, because I can't see you.
Oh, you can't see me?
No, it's completely gone.
What? Hold on. You can hear
Okay.
me.
Yeah, I can hear you fine. And if you can hear me and see me, then that's
Yeah, I
fine.
can hear and see
I
you.
don't know where
That's
it's
so
gone.
bizarre. It cut
It's
out?
like completely
Okay,
gone.
how about this? Do you wanna jump out and jump back in? I can pause this real quick.
Well, hold on. Let me just see.
Because
Yeah,
it's no
maybe.
problem. Because I'll still be in
Yeah.
here.
Okay. Well, maybe
Okay.
pause
Yeah,
it
pop
and then
back. We'll
jump
do a little
back
commercial
out. Okay.
break.
Sorry about that. I'll
No
see you in a
worries.
minute. Okay.
See you in a
Bye.
minute.
So weird. Oh, hang on. Now I can't even jump out. I've completely lost everything.
Here, you still have the restream invite link. So if you just close out the tab, just go back to Twitter and just
Oh, here you
rejoin.
are. I've got you. I
Oh,
got you.
you see
I'm
me?
back. I'm back. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm back. I can see you. I don't know what happened. Like my
No
phone
idea.
started ringing over here, and then everything just went. Anyway, sorry. I'm
That's all
back.
right. Totally
So,
fine.
what were we saying?
No idea. No idea.
Oh
But I
no,
was
so I was
do you
talking.
remember?
Yeah, talking as usual, like I do. Blah, blah. Oh yeah, so it was like the Mother Urban. I was
Oh,
thought,
yes.
okay, it feels really vulnerable, but it's the kind of art that I love to create, that I can completely zone out in while I'm creating. I'm passionate about it. Maybe this is the way to go. And it's
Mhm.
sustainable for me because it just means I can sit down. I don't really have to overthink it, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? I don't have to think about, oh, what are the trends or
Yeah.
what might
It's just an
people
art
like?
piece.
It's more like this is just coming like bleh out of
Yeah.
me. And if people
You know
like it,
what
they like it.
I love about your art specifically is it's so I can't like think of another word just like other than just good. And so I'm just like it's so good and I just like it's so like it's art that could be like in a show or something or animation like some kind of crazy wild trippy animation style thing and I'm like thinking in the future of like a digital product that would like be able to display the art and have your art piece like as an animated thing, like moving in it as it would because the art is so unique and like even the learning to fly one is a GIF, right? Isn't it?
Yeah, well, the top tier one. Yeah, that's right.
Yes.
Yep. Yep.
So like that's the coolest fuck, and it looks. And every time I look at it, I'm like, that could be such a cool moving character or something in my digital home, or in my home where I have like a digital display thing. It'd be so cool. But yeah, that's like your art reminds me of that it's like it could be in some. It belongs in some kind of animation, and I think at some
Oh.
point someone will see that. As long as I think you just keep posting and talking about it and posting the art. Like the art is just so unique, especially which one is it? My Heart
Yeah, on the sea.
on the Sea.
I
That
think
one
that's the
is
first one you
phenomenal.
bought.
Yeah, it was
Mm.
phenomenal. I was literally like counting down the minutes for when you dropped the mint. I remember because I was like, just cross like, come on.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Thank you, Kate.
Yeah.
That's makes me feel really great actually because that style of art I was concerned like there's nothing wrong with it being childlike. But I know in, the fine art world, they might be looking in that going, oh God, a 5-year-old could draw that. But it's not about that for me. It's
No
about like,
chance. This stuff is so and plus for anyone who's interested in her art, when you do go to her page and you click on it, zoom in and like really take a gander because there's a bunch of shit going on in the background and that's like where all the excitement is. And like there's little characters. Sometimes there's like a hidden boat, which you've actually explained on TikTok. Do you mind saying it again for YouTube? Because it was kind of beautiful.
No, of course. So on my heart on the sea, I drew a little boat in there because that piece really represents my dad. Believe it or not. And so my dad passed away when I was 22, and there was still like I'm in my 40s and it still affects me. Yeah, that's it. But you can't tell how much detail there is until you zoom in, can you? So there's a little boat under the flower, like light. But so that little boat is my dad, basically. He's on the boat, and that's how he actually passed away on the sea, doing what he loves. He was kayaking, so that kind of represents him. And then you'll see there's these tiny characters in there as well that represent my family. Other people wouldn't know that, but yeah, represent my family. But I'm also kind of like the big, the big kind of character in the NFT as well. It's there's a lot of different things there. And even in my eye, I think did I put a heart? Oh no, I put people in there.
Let's
No,
see.
that was
Here. I got zoomed in now. Here we go.
Anyway,
Here we
yeah,
go.
you can
Oh, I
see
see
like
it. I see it. Okay, hold on.
tiny,
So here's
tiny
the eyeball,
details.
right? So there's the eyeball. If we zoom all the
Yeah.
way in, hold on. Let's
Yeah,
see it'll
it's hard
focus.
to see. Yeah, it's hard to see.
And hold on.
But that's cool. Yeah, thank you. And then there's like people sitting up on the headdress and stuff. And so now, and Kate, I have to thank you for this inspiration. You were like, oh, that boat's so cool. And then I was like, I'm going to include it in all of my pictures.
Yes.
So now it's in Learning to Fly, and it was only in, I think, 3 of, and you asked me to, you called me on it. I couldn't believe it. Because I was like, oh, okay, Learning to Fly, it's ready, it's out there. And you were like, hang on.
And you're like, where's that one that I want?
You're like, where's the boat? And I was like, it's there. And I made you go searching, scrolling into every single one, and you found it.
Yeah, literally, because I knew other people were going to be looking for that one.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think I shared the one with the boat on TikTok or on Twitter.
And I had zoomed in and like circled it on my phone to later, so I don't forget later. And I wanted that shit because if it's important to the artist, like if I like the artist and I like the art and I want to collect it for that reason, then I want the one that like means a lot to them because like that's dope. That's a collector, like some people don't care about that, but I'm a collector and I do care about that stuff.
Yeah, no, I love that. And you are an awesome supporter, like in terms of the way you support artists and, NFT, the NFT community and NFT artists. It's so good. So yeah, thank you. It's brilliant. And the fact that you own all of my art just blows me away. Well, all of my NFTs, it's crazy. But yeah, so that little boat, that's now also in the Soul Type poem that I did. It's a 1 of 1 and on the cover. So it's kind of like you have to create a cover, almost like a book cover. It's in there as well. So thank you. That'll be my tradition or my, my plan moving forward is to incorporate it some way into every piece of art that I do. So yeah, it's awesome. It's fun.
Yeah, no, I love that. I have that similar thing and nothing that deep. Mine's more just like my Joyage Kingdom signature. I just like sneaking that in. Like I remember when I was playing around Procreate and trying to draw NFTs or like draw art on top of my photography, which is an idea I might revisit. I just wasn't quite happy with. I wasn't like totally convinced that this is what I wanted to put on the blockchain as like a thing. Like once it's out there, it's out there. So I was like, okay, like I want to be sure this is what I want to do. If like maybe like I go in a different direction. So I had those still like in the drafts, right? And one of the things I did was I incorporated this let me see if I can find it. This Joyage Kingdom signature I made last year into the drawings wherever or into the photography somewhere.
Yes. Was this the one with the rose?
Yes, that was one of them. Yeah, and I think that was hidden somewhere in that photo. But here's the signature.
Awesome. Yeah, that's cool. Yep, that's awesome.
So I try and sneak it in whenever I can.
You did that process really well as well, because I remember that you took that onto TikTok and you were like asking people, you were doing a live while you created it. And you were like, should I do this? Should I put this? And the same with the character that you created with the, remember have you still got her with the voice?
No, yeah, everything's there. I've kind of forgot about the character for a while because I sent her to an artist to do like a different derivative of her to see what it looked like, and a bunch of complications happened. So she's like, I'm not exactly sure, and then I got super busy, so I am gonna revisit and I'm trying to still figure out exactly what that character will look like and then what role that'll play as like the brand changed a little bit. Like the brand's also my business for YouTube, and then it's also like my YouTube brand for like just my content, and then it's also the name of my podcast show. And so like the Joyage Kingdom lore aspect, I'm like, where does that fit? Should it start now? Should I wait a little bit? Should I like wait so I can hire people? So I don't know yet, but I love that character as like a spokesperson type of thing.
Yeah, she's awesome.
But
and the little they're unreal. And I remember you creating it and like, should I put beads here? Should I put like, oh no, it was like, should I put a lace and we were all telling you do this.
And Charles, creative Viking. He actually I don't think Sam Crypto Glitch Bunny is. I don't know if she's still here. I haven't seen her content so much. Do you know if she's still here?
I saw her come back in for a little while into TikTok, and then I kind of haven't heard from her for a while. So I might need to follow up and see how she's going.
Crypto Glitch Bunny. I'm just gonna check her out real quick. See if she's been active or she's kind of like tinkered off. Oh, it's been a long time. It's been like beginning of the summer, long time.
Since
So it looks like
you,
she's effectively out since
yeah,
she's posted anything.
yeah.
So a
Okay,
long,
yeah.
long
I
time.
thought
So
it'd
yeah,
been a
yeah. So I do know I promised both of them. So I guess she it won't really apply to her anymore. But her and Jesus, her and Charles both like helped in every. I had like multiple sessions and they're there for like all of it. And I was gonna give them like the access if they wanted to mint it, they could.
Oh
And so
wow.
since I don't know what that'll be, they'll either have that access to whatever art piece that'll be,
Yep.
or I imagine when the next Access Key collection come out, he'll have like a reservation if he decides to like buy into one of the Access Keys, because that's the one everybody wants because they're super like expensive, and like those are the photography one of ones that I own or that I created.
I
Then I
love
have
those.
obviously the torches, but yeah, the photography collection is like so dope. Like I'm so glad it turned out the way it did, because when I posted it, I didn't think that's how it was gonna go. You know?
Wow. And it did, which is
Yeah, well, I
amazing.
mean, I didn't
Like,
even know what it was gonna do. I just was like, maybe I'll sell some pictures or
yeah,
something, and that was literally
yeah.
the only thought in my head. And then when it happened, I was like, oh my god, okay,
What?
okay. Like now there's people in my Discord, and then other stuff happened. I just got obsessed with NFTs, kind of like how we all did, and then I started
Yeah.
doing YouTube content. And then fast forward like a year, like here we are, still doing it, still talk. Have you talked to any of like your like fellow coworkers about this, like family, friends? You talk about it at all with them, NFT stuff?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah,
Still?
yeah. So, like, yeah, my friends are always asking me, "How's the NFTs going? How's the NFT?" I don't know that they completely understand what it is that I'm actually talking about, but they ask, which is so gorgeous. Like, they're like, "So, how's the art going? And how's the NFTs?" And
Yeah.
um, one of my colleagues, actually, he's a graphic designer, and we talk about it all the time. I'm like, you really need to get into this. I think you'd be great, like the art that you create and the things that you do. And and he's like, yeah. So we talk about that sort of stuff all the time. And he's like, he always asks me, he goes, I just see you like glow and light up when you're talking about NFTs and the community. He said, because I went through a little slump a little while ago, and I probably feel like I'm only coming out of the end of it now, in terms of just feeling a bit overwhelmed with life in general, and I just sort of, when I do that, I just go totally insular, like, and I'm like, eh.
Yeah.
And so I find it hard to create the TikToks. And when I know I start slacking off on TikToks, and I know it's really
Oh
bad,
God.
I'm like, something's really wrong here, because I love that shit. So
Yeah.
I go, so I was talking to him as I was kind of going through this, and my brother, and quite a few other people, and my colleague said to me, don't you lose your connection with that community. I see your face when you're talking about the people that you know and have met. You need to make sure that and I'm like, yes, you are absolutely right. Because even though I want to go inside and I don't want to talk to anybody, and I don't want to, and it's not that it's anything personal against anybody. It's just me. I just go, oh, I'm just all a bit overwhelmed. I just turn into a little snail for a minute. But actually reconnecting back in, like with the NFT3 Collective, and jumping back on Twitter, and I created a 30-day kind of like little writing challenge. Just I'll put a prompt out, do a bit of art, or do a bit of writing around that prompt. That was my way of making sure every day I did something creative and I connected with the community.
Yeah.
If I was going to hold myself accountable, to this 30-day thing, then I needed to do that. So, and that was great. I'm really glad that I did that, because otherwise, I think if I didn't, I probably it would have taken me a lot longer, and to sort of come out the other end. And I know that every time I connected with people and I met new people through that challenge as well, I felt better. I was like, yes, now I remember why I'm here. Yes, like, yeah, I love this shit. Like, this is great. It's exactly what it's where I need to be, and it's where I want to be. And I just need to, slap myself out of the doldrums for whatever reason it was, and just, and get on with it. So
Yeah. No, I
nothing
totally
wrong with
feel
having
that.
downtime though, either, let me say.
Yeah. No, I remember
Yeah.
when you made that art piece, it was for some kind of challenge we did where you were in the bed covered like in your phone or something like that. It was when you get
That's
overwhelmed.
me.
Yeah,
Yes.
I remember that.
That was you. I think you put the prompt out, didn't you? You
Was
were
that
like,
my exhibition? It must have
yeah,
been actually. Oh yeah,
yeah,
it was a guilty pleasure, I
yes.
think.
And my
Like some kind
guilty
of guilty
pleasure is
pleasure.
just putting my
Or no,
head
no, not
under the
guilty pleasure.
covers.
It's something that you do that is like I think it's like maybe like a self-sabotage style of thing. Like you're not supposed to, but you can't help it, or something that feels good, even though you like know it shouldn't, but like you kind of still do it. One of those
Yeah,
things. I forget what
yeah.
mine was. I think it was like something about getting sad, like wanting to be sad almost, because it's like it feels almost like good to feel that pity or something.
was it listening to music? Was it something to do with listening to sad songs and stuff and making
No, it
yourself
was the
feel?
one where it was like a typhoon character. He was like a
Yes.
typhoon cloud character inside of like a prison with like a tear and a crack or something. There's something to do with like I just liked. I think it was like the prison of your own mind, and you like almost trap yourself in there most of the time. And like most of your issues are not even real; they're just in your head, drummed up because
Yeah.
you think too much and you're just too alone all the time, and kind of letting your thoughts dictate how you look at the world, sort of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I remember that. And that's exactly what I drew. I did like me pretty much under the covers and like the phones on the bed going bzz, 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 like
Mm,
people are trying to get in touch. And I'm like, I
yeah,
can't even face the world right now. And that's definitely something that I've done over time is just, but luckily you sort of pull yourself out of it again. And,
yeah,
I realize I have so much. I'm so incredibly lucky to have made the connections that I've made in this space and made the friendships that I've made. Like, it kind of keeps me just really always looking forward to stuff too, and you feel like
yeah.
it's really nice to feel like you have a goal, but it's
Hmm.
also really nice just to feel like, so you're always kind of looking forward to connecting with people and
Yeah,
what's the next thing that someone else is going to create or that I'm going to create, and because the space changes so quickly, it's definitely not boring. It's not
yeah.
one of those things where you're like, oh yeah, I'm bored of this now. I mean, even with this bear market, I don't know if people are losing interest because of I guess they are, they leave, or maybe they find it too overwhelming. And then,
Well, some people gave up. Some people just left. They were like, "Eh, I don't
yeah,
really care." And then some people doubled down. Like for me, I doubled down, tripled down when I realized that like we are now in a very small pool of people,
yeah,
and the choices for like when companies start to say, "Okay, like now it's time to start," like who are the people we should be going to? We
yeah,
could be in that conversation. We could very well be in that conversation as long as you just keep going and like trying to figure stuff out and reinvent yourself. And we can actually tie it back. Like what you making that art piece for the Joyage Kingdom art exhibition, making a few bits of content about it was like beneficial to you and your own brand. Also, like every bit, like that's why it's fun for us because we're content creators. That's why I tell everyone, even if you're not looking to be a content creator, making content is fun. And like it always is like, oh, I can keep making more videos because the more videos I put out, the more engagement I get back, and then the more like opportunities are put out there. I've had almost every single opportunity that's come to me has been an inbound request off a content piece they saw for me. Like, hey, I saw this video of you. This is why I want to talk to you. Here's this thing that you put out. It's never like me reaching out. It's always they saw a random ass video on LinkedIn or like Facebook Reels or something. So I'm just like, how the fuck? And they're like, yeah, just like I found your page and did this and that, and like watch your other stuff. And I was like, wow, like every single piece of the content was the reason that all these things are happening. So it's a great goal to chase if you're not like all about the numbers, and that's why I always talk about like you can go full time without a million subscribers. You can make money. There's opportunities that can be made. It just depends how busy you can get, how obsessed you are with stuff. And for me, dude, I mean, I'm sorry to call you dude. Dude, like when I get
okay.
obsessed with stuff,
I don't
I
care.
just fucking like I win. I always just obsess so hard that I can't help but win because I'm so
Yeah.
obsessed with it, and I just go full steam. And I just read this book about business and funnels and sales, and I'm just like,
Oh, cool.
well, I'm about to win this game, and that's about the best game you could win. And I was like, okay, here we go. And so now I'm obsessed, and it's over for anyone listening. Yeah,
Yeah.
sorry, Joyage Kingdom's coming through.
Make way. It's
Way.
happening. I love that. You're so determined, like, and you're motivated, and you know what you want. And I love that. I think that's so good. I love that about you. You just like stay the course. And I think that's the other thing is that we view this as a long-term
Mm,
game. Like I'm, yes, okay, we can't deny it's nice to make sales, that's
mm,
amazing. But let's also remember, like, the community is here and it's long term. It's a long,
yeah,
like you said, the things you do now, and I know it's been said a million times about building and whatever else, but things you do now can really pay off later. And I feel exactly the same, is that every connection that I've made, every invite, like I was NFT Sydney. So the way that happened was I didn't even know that was on. And I was just scrolling through Twitter and
oh
saw that
yeah,
there
I
was a
remember this.
space. Yeah, a space being run by like NFT in Sydney, and like an NFT Sydney event. And I was like, what's this? And I jumped in. There was literally the organizer and someone else. I don't know, the two organizers and me, and some randoms jumped in and out. And but we're all just chatting, and they were like, "Hey, like, we'd love to see you at the event, but send us. We want to put you on our thing as a bio. Like, send us some of your art. We'll put it." And I get to
Whoa,
NFT Sydney, and like, there's these massive screens, and there's my art. And I'm just
Wait,
like, that's me.
I don't even remember that part. Did you film that
No,
stuff?
I
Did you
don't
talk
think I
about it?
told it. I don't
Okay,
think
that's
I
why.
told people. Like, I was just like, oh, that's my art. I didn't even notice it. We're all sitting there listening
Wow.
at this panel, and I'm like,
That is great. Yeah, I would
yeah,
shit myself
so
if my art just pulled up on a big screen like that.
I was like, oh, and then so I had to
Wow.
I had to get someone to take a
Yeah.
photo in front of, with me in
Which
front
art
of
piece
it.
was it?
It was Learning to Fly, actually. I'd only just released
Wow.
it. So yeah,
Damn.
that was April. So I released that in February, I think. So yeah, it was Learning to Fly. And I was just like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And then again, like, you make connections. Then I jumped
Yeah.
into the Discord and then made other, Aussie DeFi connections. And they're like, come on our podcast. And, so it's just has a knock-on effect, I think. And that all started from one tiny Twitter space that I just
Yeah.
happened to kind of find and was like, oh, what's this about? So
Mhm.
you just never know. And I know it's really hard. And for some people to get up and speak in those things. And, ordinarily, like, it depends on what mood I'm in. If there was only 2 people in a room, I might go, oh, yeah, no, exit out quietly. See ya, jump in and then go out. Because I'm like, oh, I don't want to have too much attention.
Yeah.
But no,
It's funny.
it just worked out well. So I would consider myself like an extroverted introvert. So I need my
Mm,
quiet time.
yeah.
I get really nervous before speaking and all of those sorts of things. But as you can tell, I also love to speak. So I'm sort of this weird, I don't know,
It just kind of depends on like the
smooshy world.
environment. It kind of depends just like on everything. I'm the same. I definitely don't get recharged by going out. I definitely recharge by staying in. Some people
Same.
really, I didn't even know this till I like saw a podcast or something where someone explained it. They were like, yeah, extroverts like get energy from going out. And I was like, okay, I definitely don't. Like maybe like an event here and there will like spark something in me if it's like, fun and exciting for a couple hours. Like when I went to NFT Seattle, that was cool and I felt refreshed, but I was fucking exhausted though at the end. Like some people, it fuels them. I'm like, there's no way, no. Like I need to go home tonight and go to sleep.
Yeah. I need to go. I'm out of here
Yeah.
now. Like I'll be the same. Like I get to a certain point in a night and I'll be like, yeah, okay. Like I might look like okay, I'm in my 40s. I might have once upon a time looked like the life of the party, but then I would just, see ya. And I'd be the random person that's like, where's Lisa? And somebody,
Oh
I
my
think she's
God.
gone home.
Wait, you
like,
said you've always been like that?
pardon?
You said you've always been like that?
Yeah. Well, I was going to do that, the teenage dirtbag trend on
Oh my
TikTok.
God, you
Had all
should.
my old photos, and I was looking through them, going, "Oh my God,
Do
no!" I
it. Do it.
used to be out partying until 5 o'clock in the morning, whatever. That was no problem. But yeah, I think the older I've got, actually, the worse that's got. Like I'm in terms of
Really?
in terms of I get to the point where I'm like, I got to go now. Yeah,
Oh,
I gotta
okay.
go
Okay.
home. I gotta go home to bed. Good night.
That's funny.
Goodbye, everybody. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I just need that little bit of quiet time. So, for instance, even after this, and this is not, this is a great conversation and not overly taxing. I'll just need to be like,
Yeah. Me too.
like just
I
to
can't. Yeah, if I have meetings back to back, it's rough. Like I can do it, but then afterwards, I'm always like, you know what? I'm gonna do this meeting or I'm gonna do this podcast. I'm gonna go work out right after. That never happens. I'm like, okay, here I go. And then I sit down. I'm like,
yeah.
and then like an hour and a half passes by. I'm like, okay, maybe I'm like kind of getting ready, almost sort of.
Yeah,
But
I'm
it's draining.
exactly
I don't know
the
what it
same.
is.
It's exhausting because you're mentally on,
Yeah,
aren't you? Like, and
that's
then
true.
you're mentally on when you go out. Like, there's a lot, not to the point where you might be having one-on-one conversations and stuff, but it's, I don't know, like, yeah, it's just sometimes just need to have that alone time to recharge. So yeah.
Exactly. Also, for people wondering, I don't know if you are wondering, this is Celsius. This isn't beer or something. I'm not drinking alcohol. And I don't even have an excuse for why I'm drinking an energy drink. It's just like I kind of crave the taste and there was like a third of a can left. That's what I'm drinking. Nobody roast me. I just because I was like sipping it and I was like, oh, this looks like beer. This looks like Corona. Kind of Corona
Oh,
premiere.
yeah.
And I was like, oh, I'm gonna look like such an asshole. Like what if someone like comes by and is like, oh, look, what a great podcast. And it's like, is this guy drinking beer on this podcast with this artist? Who is this idiot with the glasses? You know?
I would love that.
Oh god,
That's
that'd be
cool.
funny.
But
Wait, so
yeah,
I
what do you think at 8 o'clock at night, Cade? I
yeah,
don't know.
I don't know what I'm doing here. Honestly, it's not that much. It's not. It's. Never mind. No comments. Here's what I want to move in. You got books.
Yeah, I got
You're an
books.
artist. You're like, or no, sorry. Well, you are an artist. You are an author.
Yeah,
This is
I
wild.
am.
How long? What's this process like? Like, what is this? That's crazy.
So this is where it kind of didn't start. I am one of these multi-passionate people that just does not know how to really sit still. I need that downtime, but I
Yeah.
also kind of always feel like I need to be doing something creative. So as you know, I used to be a teacher. So
Yeah. Wait, there's more than one page?
yeah. I have
Oh.
over 100 books up there, Cade.
Oh, I had no idea it was this many. I thought there was just like 4 or 5, but there's wow, this is nuts.
There's a
So cool.
lot.
Wow.
So I became obsessed. Like I seriously became obsessed with creating these things. So as an author, and there's the NFT.
I got one of the. I got this shit right here. Actually, hold on.
That's the one you've got.
Yeah, I got it right here next to me. One sec.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I'm still writing this. It's like that's the main journal.
Awesome.
That's the main journal. If I need to write some shit down,
That's
goes
so
in
cool.
there.
Well, look, I got mine too.
Oh shit! Let's go. Wait, hold on. Let me bring us back into full screen. I want to take a screenshot of that later. Here, let me bring us back. One sec. All right.
I got stickies all around.
Oh, do you really? Okay, hold on. Here we go.
Yeah.
All right, so you're gonna be on the inside, so I'll be on the inside. Here we go. So I'll be like this, and then I'll hold it here. 3, 2, 1. All right, someone screenshot this, or I'll screenshot this later. Love it. Amazing. Amazing.
Yeah. I use all my stuff. So it basically all came out of as a teacher going, right, so I'm sick of these day books with things, you pay all this money and it doesn't have the things in it that I need. And so I just thought I'm going to learn how to make my own and then learn how to design the interior, use my art on the covers. And then just went, yeah, okay, I might as well do this. So it's just through Amazon. So it's print on demand. And so they're mostly like, I wouldn't call them low content books, but I wouldn't call them, they're sort of like medium content. They're almost like workbooks. So you can write in them. Some of them are just purely low content notebooks that you can just take away and, use for whatever. Of the, most of them though would have prompts or, sort of areas that you could fill in. So, like that. So that started for me probably in like 2018. And I just became obsessed. Like I was uploading 4 or 5 of these things. You can do the same interior with a different cover. And so you could, once you've done 5 covers, then you just go and upload them. So I was like uploading like for a while there, I was doing 4 or 5 a day. And again, so I stayed up late to do that. Yeah, I'd work and then I'd come home and, family time, whatever else. And then when my son went to bed, I'd be making books. So
Very cool.
Yeah, it is. It's heaps of fun. And I wrote, and then I wrote a children's book. So, and I every time I talk to you, I'm like, I've got another one, but it's still in draft. So I do have 2 more, more with a focus on kind of like social and emotional learning for kids. So more around, resilience or that sort of messaging. So something, that I sort of am passionate about. So I do have a lot of those notebooks out there, and I have to say it's kind of awesome because you can promote them as much as you like as an author. Like I could choose to do Amazon ads and, all sorts of things, and I could be creating, Facebook ads and whatever else around those, and promoting them. Or I can just kind of do what I've done and like put them up there, put them on my website, tell people that, sometimes it might just be a one-off where I go, hey, I made this thing. I haven't done that for ages. And it's kind of like a bit of a set and forget. And that's probably really incredibly lazy of me. But I continue to get royalties every month from my sales. So that's great.
That's awesome. No, you should talk about it a little bit. Or like I didn't even know until I clicked on that link tree that you have pillows available, which I'll be buying. I didn't know you had those. Did you
Oh,
even remember that you had
Redbubble.
those?
Yeah, see, again, they're all through print on demand. So,
Yeah, it's
like, for
awesome.
instance, so I've just connected in with, like, Redbubble and Society 6. So, yeah, I put some of my art on those things. So, there you go.
That's the one I want. Love that.
Yeah, you've got
Love
you want that.
that. No, yeah, you should talk about it a little bit because, like, I found it's
Yeah.
not too big of a thing. You can just be like, hey, like, if you bought my, I mean, this is mainly, I would assume, being targeted at your collectors. You're like, hey, like, if you bought my NFT, like, I have this available. If you want a pillow,
Yeah.
if you're an extra pillow, like, this is something that, if you're just a collector and you're just like, yeah,
Yeah.
it's not like you're charging $200 for it.
No, and I think the other good thing about it is that if you can't buy the NFT for whatever reason, but you
Yeah, it's
like
another
the
way to jump
artwork,
in.
you can get it another way. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. Exactly. So
Yep.
I thought there was sort of that debate very early on, and I remember asking one of the Discords, "Is it okay to use an artwork that I have created as an NFT
Mhm.
on another product?" And there was actually a bit of debate going on. Some people were like, "Well, as a collector, I wouldn't want that. I wouldn't want. I would, but then I had a good chat to Sydney about it actually, and she was like, "Well, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Because it's actually promoting people. You're raising awareness around the art, and then it might drive people back to your NFTs. It could go that way or could go the
Right.
other way. And again, like I just said, if people can't afford to buy your NFTs or they don't want to buy an NFT for whatever reason, they can still access the art in another way. NFT collectors might be out, might want to have the whole set. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I got the pillow, I got the bag, I got the
Yeah.
hat, I got the NFT.
Uh,
So I guess she kind of convinced me after listening to her and a couple of people. I thought, yeah, like, why not? Because actually, doesn't take anything away from you having ownership of the NFT.
right.
You have sole ownership of the NFT.
Yep.
And that's
And
different.
most of the
Owning
time, when people have, I don't know, the argument against it is, in my opinion, more of an argument against, like, they just don't understand
Yeah.
why or why not. That's why they're like, oh, like, I don't know, like, doesn't really sound right. It's like, well, like, this is where the education part, really works, and this is like part of the reason that no doubt that it's like expensive to buy in is because typically, like, the people who have bought knew what they were getting themselves into. That's why I say a lot for myself. I'm like, most, if not all, my collectors, my NFT, especially the access keys, knew exactly what they were buying, why they were buying it. Even if it was expensive or cheap, they knew why they were getting it and how long they're going to be holding it for, and what's the reason to hold this token of support. And so they don't really undercut the floor. They don't really care to do that because, like, I know why I bought in. And it's the same. Like, when you know what's going on and your collectors know what's going on, that's a recipe for success. But if you have a project and everyone in there's 15 and, like, they're using their parents' credit card, no shit, your floor went to zero because they don't understand anything about anything. And that's where, audience creation is important. The kind of content you make, like, your content is going to attract a different audience than me or Sydney. Like, Sydney,
Yeah.
we all have different target audiences because of the way
Yeah.
we make content. And so it's important, and if people don't have the right content they're putting out there, no one knows. And from this book that I'm reading, a confused mind is a mind that says no. Like, when there's confusion around, what you're offering, what this is, what that is, people are like, I'm good.
Yes, that makes sense. Absolutely. Yeah. A confused mind says no. I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, means no. Yeah, that's
That's
really
me. That's literally me until like a week ago before I read this book, and I was like, oh, yeah, I just didn't understand sales. I didn't understand how any of it worked. And, like, now that I understand some of it, I'm like, oh, that's not so bad. I could do that. I can do that in like 2 hours. So
Yeah. I can apply that. I can do that thing. But
exactly.
if you understand it, that's exactly right. It's all about education. And that's the kind of view I take as well when you get people in, I think I've spoken about this before, is that I find this has been my experience in the author world, trying to bring people into the NFT and Web3 space who are already authors and readers. They're It's tricky, and I just keep coming back to the fact that it's actually just all about education. They don't understand. They
Yeah.
still see NFTs as a scam or, whatever, and so they don't want to be interested in it. So I've seen a couple of fantastic authors in the independent publishing space start talking about NFTs, and the backlash that they have received from other indie authors is just
Yeah.
insane. And again, they're so gracious. They'll just keep, they'll just keep plowing on though. These people who are creating books and trying to educate about NFTs because that's what they want to do. They're like, they can see that as well. This is just about education. These people do not understand. They've been misinformed. They've been fed media hype, which they think is right. You know what I mean? They've believed the media and they don't think they're necessary. They think they ruin the environment, whatever.
Well, plus, like, I don't even want a customer or a client or a community that's going to jump ship as soon as like they make a small little assumption. I'm like, bro, I don't want you in my. I don't need you. That's not something I'm trying to have here. You know. So
yeah. So I think that these creators, it's people who have been really well known and established in the author world, and then they're starting to pivot to NFT. So these more traditional kind of audiences are still sitting over here watching these people make incredible content, you know, make huge gains and teaching people how do you do this? They get it. They're like, so for instance, one of the people that I love to listen to in a podcast is Joanna Penn. So she owns the podcast is Creative Penn, Penn. And so she's an indie author. And I originally started listening to her for that. And then she's started talking about Web3, NFTs. And, you know, she has these little in-betweeny episodes where it's content around NFTs or whatever. And she has people on. And I love listening to those because she's so upfront and transparent. Like, it's really tough gig trying to get people to understand this stuff. It's not that easy. It is a bit complicated at the moment because we know things change and sometimes the barrier to entry feels quite high for people that are kind of interested, but, you know, they're curious, but they're not really willing to go out and get a wallet and understand, you know, then go and buy crypto and all that sort of stuff. But I really feel like the narrative is shifting away. I'm seeing so much content, and I don't know about you, Cade, but I'm seeing heaps of content of people saying we just shouldn't be calling them NFTs. We just shouldn't, you know, it's not about what's under the hood. It's actually like, here's this thing, like the Reddit stuff, for instance, you know, we can see the potential is still there. And if we want to go mainstream, I think the language starts to need to change.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It's too many people who hear NFT and think monkey JPEG scam.
Yeah.
It's like, it's almost too much. It's like that you just can't tear those two away from each other. And I don't know what it's going to be. I assume some kind of digital collectible, digital something would be something like that, I guess. It doesn't really matter too much, but so if there are like artists who are listening right now, this might be something cool that we could even potentially do, like a challenge of like, if someone came up to you and said, hey, you are going to die in 7 days unless you make a sale from your NFT art in the next 7 days, what would be your go-to strategy? Like right now, someone comes up to you right after this podcast, says your days are finished unless you make one NFT sale, and the race is on. What would you do?
I love that. Let's put that out there. I reckon for me, if I wanted to get that last NFT across the line, I would, and I had 7 days to do it. Yeah, I would be making a crap ton of content around it, around the story, around the process, because I've got all those videos. If you're making things digitally, you'll have something somewhere, unless you've turned your video off on Procreate or whatever, but get someone else to film you creating something, you know? I would be talking about the process. I think when you put it that way, it really does make you think, actually, I probably should be talking more about my art. And
so I want to start doing a little bit more too, even though I don't need to.
Definitely.
It'd be like interesting to see, because it'd be cool, like, to have a little bit of volume, be like, oh, like people still like people. Most recent, I always say this all the time, like most people don't buy NFTs because they just don't know they're there. Like there's a lot of people who, when I dropped that last Torch collection, they were like, oh my god, like I would have totally buy your NFT if I knew about it. I'm like, damn, like that happens to most people. Like most of the time I don't buy it because I just didn't hear about it. And so that would be good. Like also another thing that I would do as well, to add on to that, because I would do the exact same thing, is I would start making content geared toward collectors. Like what would a collector be potentially interested in if I posted a video and I had 4 seconds to grab his attention? He's a collector. What could I say that would make a collector say, okay, let me see what this video is about. What is this kid about? What is this art? And I'll probably make some videos about that. Maybe some videos related to NFT artists making sales in their own NFT arts, like making tips for them. And then be like, by the way, I have my own collection. Like this is the way I should support, blah, blah, blah. Kind of like a little sales pitch at the end for the people who stayed. And just stuff like that probably. And just do a fucking lot of those videos, probably at least 2 a day, you know?
Yeah, for sure. And I think it also depends on your intent. So like, do you have utility with it?
Mhm.
Do you not? That's okay. Like, either or, there's
Right.
no right way to do it. But, is there utility? Is there, what do you get on top of this NFT, or what does this NFT represent? Is it more like, are you using it as an NFT artist to crowdfund sort of? I mean, not that we know, some people do that. They're like,
Yep.
I need to fix my, like, I'm gonna die in 7 days and I need to cover my funeral costs. Like, here's my
Right.
NFT collection. Please buy it so my family can pay for my funeral or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, if we've got 7 days left. But I think it can be that kind of thing, or it can be, like, I think there's so many different ways that NFTs can be used and presented, that I think, again, like you said, it's kind of really hitting that who you're talking to, like, who's your target audience. And I love that. That's cool. Put that challenge
I
out
want
there.
to. I kind of want to. Yeah, because I just need to. I might as well. Like, if you were like, okay, I got 1 hour, I could make 10. I could make at least 10 to 15 videos and just pump them out in 1 hour if I just made myself do it. And I'm thinking about doing that because I'm like, you know what? Like, let me see if I got this still. Like, let me see if I can still pull up and do this. Because I remember probably 3 or 4 months ago, I did the same thing and I did make 2 sales, and it was to prove a point. I was like, I'm telling you, I think it was. I said there was a sale that happened, and I said I'm gonna screenshot this sale and I'm gonna start posting about it, and I'm gonna make another sale because of this post. Just the post saying someone else bought it, and I made it happen in under a week. And I remember being like, fuck yes. Like, I knew it. I knew
love
this.
that.
I knew this would work. And so I'm thinking about doing it again. It's like, maybe I can get 3 sales in 2 weeks or whatever it is. Like, I think that might be actually really cool. We should do that. Maybe we can do some kind of like giveaway or some kind of like incentive. I don't know what it would be, but that'd actually be really cool.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah, let's talk, because I think that'd be great.
Yeah.
And I look, same thing with my soul type, with my poems. I was like, I created one, and I did it for an auction, and that's the first time I've ever done auction. I put it up for auction on Soul Type, and it sold within, I think I put it up for 7 days, and it was sold at more than double what I put it on for.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, I mean, look, I didn't put it on for a huge amount, but it was sold for more than double.
Nice.
In
Crazy.
I think it was like 2 days or 1 day or something. Well, it wasn't long anyway. And I was like, it's there's been a bid. That's amazing. Oh, Jimmy.
Yeah.
So, and then that person won the bid and they were stoked, and then they shared it, so it's, and I really think, and we had that connection then too. So
Yep.
we were in the same sort of Discord. So he was like talking to me about, the process, and, what he liked about the art or the poem, what it meant to him, kind of thing. And I thought that was really great. So it's still absolutely possible in a bear market to make sales.
Yeah, definitely. It
Just
definitely
need
is.
to keep connecting and keep showing up. That's really all it comes down to. Keep showing up,
Because you can change someone's like energy with one video. They can have a shit day, and then by the end of your little 55-second rant, they can be like, man, I don't even feel that bad anymore. And I want this NFT now. Like, I've been like that. Like, people are we're so fucking, like, our minds, because of social media, we just bounce from one thing to another. Like, it's like the monkey mind. You just grab one branch and then or a vine, you grab another vine, now you're swinging. Like, I can do that shit. I can be in the most depressed mood ever and then just do something completely random. So that's just humans for you.
I love that. And that's me. Like, I actually feel this is going to show you how kind of like addicted to social media I am. I feel like if I don't create my TikToks and stuff, after I've created them and they're batched and they're in my drafts, I feel like this, I love making them. I find that fun. And I just feel like this, like, I have been productive today,
me too.
even though I'm creating TikToks. But I feel like, this sense of like, excellent. I've done those. And, just that, it's that creation. So even when I say like, I wasn't really creating anything, I needed to create that 30-day challenge for myself to start really making sure I was doing something creative every day.
Yeah.
Making a TikTok is creative. You got to think about some things, and you can make it so fun. Like, that's what I love about it. I think it's sort of not anything goes, obviously, but it's, you can really be authentic. And I think people connect more with video. Would you find that, like, rather than say on Twitter?
Yes, I would say I would say. I mean, I think you get a higher quality collector because of video, because they get to see more about who you are. If they just have like interacted with you through text, it might be more about like hype if you're like super famous or something to like own their piece, rather than like, this means a lot to me. Like I don't want to sell this because it would hurt to sell this kind of thing. You know,
Yeah.
which is how pretty much it is for all my art. Anything I'm still holding, it's like an emotional tie. Like there's no way I could get rid of it. It was just like even something that like, even if it doesn't have like any monetary value, it would still be hard to just sell. Or even if someone was like, hey, this is an NFT that's more or less, you know, not going to be worth anything close to this, I'm going to offer you like $1 million. It'd still be like, oh, I don't know if I could give that to you. Like, this is like a personal, this like, I own this.
I love that. Yeah, I feel the same.
So,
I'm emotionally connected. If I look in my wallets, every single piece I have some kind of emotional connection to, or
yeah.
emotional connection to the artist, which
Mhm.
makes me connected to the art. So
Yeah.
I feel exactly the same. I am a diamond hands for life. Like, sorry, I hold it for life. I'll hold
Yeah.
on forever. I am not going. I don't. I'm not a paper hands. I am diamond. Like I will hold on to those things. I swear. I just too much of an emotional attachment. So you know,
Yeah.
I'm probably not the what every NFT creator wants as a collector, because I'm like, I'm collecting and I'm keeping. You know, I'm not. I don't
Yeah.
often put things on. Actually, I don't think I've ever put anything on the secondary market, which
I
is
don't, yeah, honestly, I don't really care. Like, I mean, I have my own NFT art, and like when I see other people list it or make sales, like, I really have no feeling. There's no like emotional thing. Like, I have if someone sells, I'm just kind of like, oh, like I guess they need some money. Like, I'm glad they got in. If maybe they'll, or I'm glad they got out and got some money out of it. Maybe they'll come back in later. But I
Yeah.
don't really have tie. I think it's cool. Like, I would rather, even as the creator, I would rather there be way less sales, but be like either higher ticketed, or I don't know. I some people want the super high volume. I don't know. For me, it's kind of cool to have people that have been like, there's probably 90 to 95% of my holders of my access keys have never sold. They bought at mint. And I'm like,
Yeah.
that's fucking nuts. You know, like that
Yeah.
is really, really crazy.
Yeah.
And same with you. There's like, I would say probably, right? Like the majority of your holders bought and hold since mint.
Yep. I
Yeah.
mean, those two things on secondary at the moment are the only things that I've seen ever go up on secondary. So
Yeah.
on the secondary market. So I don't know, do I go, oh, that's a great thing because people really like my art and they want to hang on to it? Or is it
Yeah.
like, oh, like they don't, you know, they just don't think it'll sell? I don't know. But I'm actually not wedded to either.
Mhm.
I love the fact that people want to hang on to my art because I have an emotional connection to it, because that to me is, that's why I created it in the first place. I
Yeah.
want to
Same.
spark some kind of feeling in somebody, you know, who connects with my artwork. And if I can make a connection for somebody, you know, make them feel joy or whatever,
Yeah.
I'm winning, you know. I don't need them to
Mhm.
put it back onto the secondary market. So yeah, again, I'm more than happy for people to hang on to my work. I kind of
Yeah.
take that as a bit of a compliment.
Same. It's a flex. In my opinion, it's a flex. Like it's like a representative of like how I am perceived, almost like how people perceive me as the person who created their NFTs. And so we have a question from Emmy, or yeah, or Emil or Emmy. I can't tell if it's Emmy or
Emil, I think.
Emil Black. I think a surrealist art filter can be made that can take mixed NFTs to make one. So like
Like an
this?
AI?
Either that or some kind of like polymerization where you like combine multiple art pieces through a surrealistic art filter. So some kind of filter that like combines multiple
Kind of
pictures into
pump
one
things.
image. I think anything can sell. It just depends if you can get people to want it. So I think, yeah, I mean, I've seen I can't explain 75% of the art that I see. Sometimes I just want it though. I look at it and I'm like, yep, how much is that?
Yeah. What do you look for in a good NFT artwork or project?
Let's
Like, what are
see.
you looking for to
I mean,
buy?
there's definitely some kind of shock factor. Like I mean, I've got a ton of NFT art pieces now. In my collection, I've got a bunch that are from like, it's like a normal ETH people, some people on Solana, some people on some other blockchains. But I found like a few of my pieces that I really fucked with were like this. This is one artist I love. She's one of my favorite artists. It's like 3D rendering.
Oh,
I don't even know how they make it. And this is another one,
wow.
same style. It's just like shock value a little bit. It's like, what is that? Like
Wow.
that's so innovative. I guess the word's like innovative, like
Yeah.
so different than what I'm used to. So something that's like
Yeah.
eye catching. Most of my art's like that. I also like, so kind of like your style, like whatever you describe that as, is another style that I love, because a lot
I
of my
don't even
art that
know
I
what that
have,
is.
I don't know what that would be like. They all just are similar-ish, like cartoon slash animation slash. I'm not sure what that word would be, but I love that style because basically the rest of my art looks like that. And so something like that. I
Yeah.
mean, you can see in the back we have Rainbow, we have her.
Yes. We love Rainbow.
And then we
She's
have
awesome.
Solanimals over
Yeah.
here. You can barely see it. And then above me, I have face to faces over there. So a little bit with the artists too. That's like a bonus. If I see their art, I mean, I don't have to see their content on TikTok or something to want to buy, but certainly I would feel like, for example, I have that statue NFT, the green statue head that I love. I
Yep.
don't know if you saw that, but I bought that a long time ago, and I love that piece, love the artist and everything. But they don't post any content, so I don't really like know them personally. And so, if if your piece was a physical like that, that would mean more than theirs, because I'm not as emotionally connected to them because you put out content. So I think putting out content is the best way. That's the way I really feel connected, because I'm a content creator and I'm a collector. So it's like a double W. So if you're creating content and it's dope, and you offer some kind of inner life piece, like you sent me this book, the journal, I love that. Like that's also cool. Like that's cemented now. It's like a even deeper feel. So it's awesome. I think there's a lot of things you could do.
Yeah, totally. I love that, what you just mentioned, coming back to saying I'm a content creator. So I think that's the other thing as an NFT artist, or as an artist in general. It's about creating. I know we've talked a lot about creating content, but realizing there's huge benefits in being a content creator around this. Like, I don't know how you couldn't be, you know what I mean? How you could successfully launch without producing some kind of content. I think you've just got to do that. I mean, it's with any business, I guess, but it's and I think that maybe when people first get into it, they don't quite realize that it's that it is a business. It's, you've got to view it that way, and part of your strategy is content creation. So
Yes.
Absolutely.
Most bang for your buck. It's most bang for your buck.
Yeah,
You can make just normal content. You don't even have to make salesy content. Sometimes people just make the sales. Like, it's just that easy. Sometimes you have to do some sales stuff and marketing stock content. I think there's just a ton of ways. Like, let's run through some examples of videos for people who are listening who don't know what. Because a lot of the reason, I mean, for me, I can't relate because ideas come in my head 24/7. Whereas there's some people but then other things I have issues with, right? But then some people, their issue is the idea, and that's where, like, honestly, like a lot of my content creator friends will go to me for ideas, because a lot of them are great at making the videos and they're good at other stuff that I'm not good at. But the ideas is where they kind of hit a wall. And for me, I have endless ideas. There's always ideas in my head. So like voiceovers while you do the art is like one of my favorites. And then probably some kind of like funny sound, trending sound maybe, where at the end it's like blah, and it's like the art piece. Those are also really fun.
Yeah, they're cool. They're
easy to make too.
Pardon?
I said they're easy as fuck to make. They usually don't take too long. So it's like low effort. You can make like 10, or like a similar video where you can just make a generic video of you doing something with your art. And then you could probably get like 10 to 12 songs, 10 to 12 songs, and also funny sounds. And I'm like, dude, that's 12 pieces of content right there. So exactly. I'm gonna have a ball with this new challenge, because I'm gonna really put some effort in and try and make like 30 videos or something and see if I can get a sale.
The challenge is on. I'm gonna have to up my content game now. All right, it's on.
All right. So what are some more ideas for videos? So what are some specific ideas for videos people can make that are artists?
So I think we've already talked about, sharing your process, sharing, your art actually as you're creating it, sharing the story behind your art. I think, like, I love those trending sounds, or so, like you said, where you see something, like that one that's like, how did this become this? Like, and you see the sketch, and then you see this amazing thing on the wall, like that kind of stuff. And then people are like, yeah, how did that become that? Or even art fails. Like, I love like when people can have a bit of a laugh at themselves and go, this is what I wanted. This is what I thought it was going to turn out. Like, this is what it is, like just being able to have a bit of a laugh at yourself as well, not take it also seriously, I think is really important. Like, I think I need to up my live game. So going live a little bit more, where you're actually either creating the art on your live or like you did, which was amazing, where you're creating, but you asking for feedback, like, should this be pink, should it be red, what do you think about this, what do you think about that? And then I think that actually creates this sense of not necessarily ownership, but kind of like people can say, I was part of the process when that NFT was created. And I think that really brings people on board as well. So education is super important. I think if you can create some educational content, and it doesn't have to be, see, this is where I fall down. Sometimes I talk a little bit too long. So in my TikToks, I'll go and then do this, and then look, and then I clicked over here, and then I did this, and then I did that. You can condense those videos into like that 15-second text how do I do this? Bang,
Yes, I
bang, bang,
know. I
bang.
never do that stuff, and it frustrates me every time I remember that I don't do it because I never do it. It's so easy, and instead I try and like piece together this video where I'm talking and I'm like, why don't I just do what Katie does and just
Yep.
point at stuff? Like she's
Yep.
so good at that shit. I'm like, why don't I just do that? I just never do it.
I'm exactly the same. I'd much rather just like, and then you do this, and then you do that. But you should just say, like, you know, I've created a couple of videos. I think there was one for authors where I was like, you know, 5 NFT platforms for authors that you may not have known about. Bang, bang,
True.
bang, bang to a trending sound.
Great
And
idea.
like
Great
that's
idea.
it, you know. And so I think if you're educating people at the same time, giving them new information they may not have known about, pointing to websites and software or whatever that might be super helpful for them that they may not know about as well. I think if you can entertain people at the same time, then you're winning. So yeah,
and if you're doing
definitely.
anything interesting, like I said with the journal, like I think you could do a ton of content with your in real life stuff. Like give the pillow, the journal, and you could be like, oh, like I'm flipping through this journal, like talking about something. You're like, by the way, this is like my NFT art piece as well, and like you can buy it, and like all these things. Like that's the way to do it. Like for me, one of the perks I want to do, which I haven't really told anyone, because I don't want to like. I feel like one of the things I've learned in the last 6 months has been to stop just like leaving hints. There's just no reason to do hints anymore. Just like stop doing them because every time I leave a hint, I get fucked. But I'm still gonna do it. Like one of the things I would love to do is be like randomly out of the blue, just be like, okay, snapshot's been taken on Twitter. Just be like snapshot's taken. All my access key holders, I know who you are. All you have to do is send me a message in Discord if you're already a holder, blah blah blah, and I'll get everyone's information, and then I'll like send them the thing. And like the idea was like I want to have at some point like a super high quality, realistic, like hologram projection of my NFT art piece or something like that. Just, I don't know if that exists yet or if it's good or how expensive it is, but I want to have something where it's like super high quality, high tech, where if they put it in like their atrium of their house or something, it'd be like the first thing to see, people are like, holy shit, what the fuck is that? You know, like I want that. And for them to be like, I own that. And all I had to do was just be a holder at this random date. And I just got it for free. I didn't have to like, he didn't play some game where he tried to pump the floor before, like telling everyone it was going to be a snapshot, like just do it out of nowhere. Yeah. And reward them just for being collectors and being supporters. And I want to do cool shit like that. And if you can make a video documenting that, you can do like the easiest shit. You can just like the video that sold my NFT when I was talking about it from a few months ago, it was me pointing with the green screen of like the photo of the tweet where it says like this NFT sold, and it was just this with a funny sound, and then like another point where it was like, this is how you can make sales, something stupid like that. And like that video was the one that made the sale, and I'm just like, wow, easy. And here's an example too. So this is my friend Alina. She blew up. I mean, she was already blowing up, but this video blew up. She got 5 million views almost on this video, and it's a very simple one that any artist can make. This is on Instagram, so 4.4 million.
Wow.
Hold on, let me turn the sound on. There we go. Ready?
Process.
And that's it. Like
gosh.
5 million views and like 25,000 followers later after probably spending 10 minutes making that video. Like, isn't that crazy?
What?
That's where I'm like,
don't know. Yeah.
It's art digitally, which makes like it makes so much painful sense. It hurts. I'm like, you're trying to sell your art and you think you're gonna have a better time going to random ass galleries with people you don't even know, they don't know you or your story, and you think you're gonna have a better chance than me selling it online where I can make content about it to people who are like on the other side of the country. And we all know that people online are way more like, those friends are like different, they hit different, they support everything you do. And I'm like, you think that you're gonna make a sale and I'm not, when I have the power of the internet? I'm like, no chance. And I think any artist not trying to do that is fooling themselves, saying it's not worth it or I don't understand. I'm like, no. This is how you make sales. And it's been obvious for the past 10 years that everything goes online. All the influencers can make money making silly videos online. Everyone can do it. Like literally that's why Web3 exists. It doesn't have to be about royalties. It's about the opportunity that's here in the eyes.
Right. Absolutely. Anyone can do it. That's exactly right. And it can take so many forms. And I love that something so, well, you know, her art is not simple. It looks amazing. Sure. But the video literally took like how long? It was like a 15-second clip.
Yeah, 15 seconds to 3 angles. 3 angles of her just drawing. Just finishing. She probably finished the art piece, got a blank, clean brush, and just was like, all right, let me get a couple strokes in. That's it.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah, amazing. And see, that's what I mean when I'm talking about process. I think people really love to see like, how did that become that? You know, like, how did
Yeah.
the start of something which just looks kind of like a blank canvas or whatever, and then it turns into this amazing piece of art, you know, that,
Do you
yeah.
remember that TikTok sound? Is like wipe, wipe, wipe it down,
Yeah,
wipe. Do you remember that
yes,
sound? You
and
should
it
do
was
that
like
with
the
your art piece. You could do that with your brush, be like, wah, and then it's just like boom, finished heart, like one of those like amazing art pieces. That would be a good one. Like I can do one with my camera where I can just be like this, and the camera zooms in on me with my camera, hits my
Yep,
lens, and then boom, like a scroll, like a shutter of 10 of my NFT art pieces or something for my photography. And
that's
there's
so
like tons
cool.
of ways you can make content. It's gonna be fun. So I'm actually really excited to do this now.
Okay, yeah, me too. I'm all these ideas. I'm thinking, right, I got to go write them
Hell yeah.
down. All
Right
these
on.
things that, yeah, that aren't gonna take that long. You know what I mean? That it's just
Yeah,
a bit of creative thinking. Like, just get a little bit out there with stuff, and then go, well, what do I do that I can use that trend for, or whatever. But yeah, I love
exactly.
that. And I think also, if you're on Procreate, making sure that you keep those videos, like, make that sure that's
Yes.
switched
Oh,
on. So,
yes.
you know, that's done well for me as well. Is just having a couple of videos on there of like just 15 seconds,
Mhm.
you know, or 30
Exactly.
seconds, whatever, like it was like this. And you see it flicking because it's in fast motion anyway. Like, and then
Mhm.
you get a sense of how much I do change my mind because it's like blue, yellow, blah, 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 backwards and forwards a million and one times. But
That's hilarious.
yeah. Just that sort of stuff, sharing those sorts of things. And I think also interspersing, and I know we're talking about sales, but interspersing your content with stuff about you outside of I mean, not necessarily outside of the art, but it can be outside of the art, but other
Mhm. It
things that
complements
you're
it.
interested as well. Like, yeah, just being you and sharing your other passions as well. Like, I know
Exactly.
a lot of people relate to some of the stuff that I put up about being a multi-passionate, like, and
Yeah.
how we jump from one thing to the next, and, you know, some of the complexities around that kind, or the challenges around always wanting to be doing something new. And, like, you know, if I showed you the other side of this room, Cade, you would laugh your butt off because you'd be like,
Chaos.
oh my God, I have a wall full of, so I used to make jewelry. I
Oh,
could
nice.
name all the things I've done over time. And
Really?
I've got a wall full of all these little cabinets with all the findings and stuff to make jewelry. Because
Wait,
so
what, like good jewelry or like
probably
shitty
shitty, but
Etsy shit?
well,
Okay.
like food inspired jewelry. So
Okay.
polymer clay, jewelry. So for instance, earrings that are like little cupcakes and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So kind of more on your teen kind of kids, you know, like stuff for kids and things.
Yeah.
But so that was massive. I was doing that for a while, and I've just got like spare room, open the door, everything comes flying out. Like, you know, I'm always, uh, yeah, I'll go out and buy all these craft supplies and things. So, but the one or the two things actually that I've always been common and that I've always stuck with are the drawing, whether it's
Mhm.
just sketching, you know, and then Procreate came along. You know,
Yes.
I was doing art on canvas, and now Procreate's there. That's makes life so much easier. And the writing. So those are the two things I always come back to. The other things I love, but oh my God, the amount you should see, talk to my husband. He's like, another thing. When are
That's
you going to sell that
awesome.
stuff? Like, it's
That is
bad.
awesome. Well, also another thing that connects with people are like mothers. Like you make some content every now and then about like mother, like being a
Yeah,
mother in general. That's
yeah.
also helpful to like sons. Like I don't know if you even know that, but like a lot of like kids or guys or girls who like did not have, you know, the kind of mom that's like nurturing or something, you know, they're probably look at your videos like, wow, that's actually really nice. They get to it opens their mind up to like maybe why their mother didn't do it or something like that. So it's really helpful to those
Yeah,
people, teachers, students, like students who didn't
yeah.
have good teachers see you and they're like, oh man, like I wish Lisa was my teacher. So that kind of content can hit a lot of people in different ways, you know?
Yeah. Well, and that's how I connected. I mean, I connected with Rainbow through NFTs, but she was
Yeah.
almost like, you're a teacher. Can you come? We do like, you're and an artist and a mum, and we'd really love to hear your perspective on, you
Mhm.
know, creating projects and stuff on our on one of the lives. So they had me as like a guest on her live, which was
Mm,
amazing. So, you know, it's like realizing we're so much more than just the one, you know, I'm not just an artist, you know,
yeah.
I'm a whole person with all these other facets, and sharing that through content creation as well, I think is important.
Mhm.
um yeah, so people do feel like they do get to know you, and I
Yeah.
think also being approachable. So, you know, we don't all want our DMs filling up all the time with, you know, randoms who are just trying to sell us stuff. But if it's a genuine connection. Like if they're genuinely reaching out for assistance or just for chat, oh yeah, I'm there for it. You know, I'm helping any way I can, and I love to make connections that way. But yeah, so I think it's also just, it's not always about what can I get out of it. It's just really about helping others and being kind, you know?
Yeah,
So
I agree.
yeah.
Also a question again from Emil says, has there been someone who created like basically a surrealist art generator to mix attributes and features? I think that's something that people are trying to do. I don't know if this has actually been implemented, / maybe if it is, people just aren't interested in it right now. But I imagine they are. This actually probably is a pretty cool idea, because like it's similar to like the Bored Apes when they had their mutant apes. They basically made like a random ass alien generator thing and just gave them all new traits. Like maybe that is something that's pretty cool, Emil. So I would actually probably try and jump into some spaces that are art related, see if anybody knows anything and pick their brains about it, because I don't know the answers to that question if someone's made it.
No, me neither. I don't know either. I don't know if anyone's done that, but I think it sounds super interesting.
Yeah.
I reckon it'd be awesome to explore a bit further. So yeah.
I mean, well, also I was gonna talk about a second ago when we were talking about when I had done the live stream with my art. Like part of that was also an experiment to see if I would like it in general. Like it doesn't have to be me who's drawing. In fact, that like I was thinking of you more than me, because I was like, I probably can't draw, to be honest. Like I would like to be able to do my art, but at some point to do like art collaborations, I think that's always fun, especially for me. Like I'm always picky with who I do those things with. And I was like, okay, well, there's only like a handful of artists I ever do this with. And I was like, okay, I wonder if like they're mostly artists, like who draw and stuff. So I was like, I wonder if like my photography could go with art somehow, and if there's a way to mix them together where they could complement each other on the same thing. And I was like, yeah, it would probably be Lisa and like Sydney and I don't know who else, but like not a long list, you know.
That'd be cool. Yeah. Oh well, thank you. I'm very honored. That's awesome. So I did a collaboration, and actually, we never minted it. I need to go back to Donna about that. So Donna and I, so we created, she does beautiful watercolors. So we decided we were going to do a collaboration about Under the Sea. So she did sort of like all the fish, like these beautiful watercolor fish, and I did the ocean and the coral. So two complete, and you know, again, hid tiny little scuba divers and stuff in amongst the coral and whatever and seaweed. Nice. And it's done. We just never minted it, so we need to work that out. Wow. But again, I think we're exploring like the split. You know, we needed to basically be able to mint it that offers royalty splits. And so we were sort of exploring where we're going to go, but I love that idea. I think when two kind of worlds collide, whether it's photography and like art in some way, in terms of drawing or, you know, painting,
it can be shock value like crazy, like, whoa, what is that?
Yes, produce some really cool NFTs. I reckon that'd be awesome. Just some, it would be super cool. Really cool art.
Because we have very complementary styles. Like I have dark, gloomy, black and white shit, and it's photography, and a lot of it's solo / like lone warrior theme-esque, and yours is like colorful, light, and it's like all these other elements, and like mine is more for like overall feel. You've got a bunch of attention to detail. I'm definitely like, I'm not as attention to detail, even though I'd like to be, but I'm like big about like maybe I could frame like a perfect shot in my head, and then we envision this art piece that you're going to put on top of it or as part of it or something like that along those lines. I just that idea is really cool, especially when I had Sydney make the torches for my NFT collection. And she did the art for those torches, which I can bring up.
I love those torches. They're awesome.
Amazing, man. And it's like my hand, like it's still me because it's like my hand.
Tattoo and everything, doesn't she?
Yeah. She did an incredible job on it.
I know. She's so good.
Hold on, let me see if it'll focus. Let me back up.
Yeah, there we go.
One more time. All right. Okay. So we hit the right button here.
Got it? Yeah. So
cool. Yeah, because you can see it's my age. Oh fuck, wrong hand. Hold on. It's this hand. Nope, this way. Nope, this way. All right. So if you're seeing it, like it's me holding this torch.
Oh yeah.
Like that, and it's literally the thumb. It's the where is it? The mushroom ring.
Everything.
Yeah, everything. Because I basically sent her an exact photo of what I was trying to replicate, and I was like, "Can you put like a mountain thing with this background, and then like a torch instead?" And she was like, "I got it." And like that's how I did it with Sarah Beth when she made my Joyage Kingdom logo. That logo was, I just was like, hey, I'm looking for a Zelda color theme. I would love a compass with like a fucking with the word Joyage and like
maybe did that. Did she do that?
No, not Sydney.
Oh, sorry. I thought
my friend Sarah Beth. Different artists.
Okay, yes. And I've seen you do some lives with her too.
Yep. Yeah. So she's one of my good friends. Awesome. So I basically was like, yeah, here's some ideas. You do it or something. I don't know how to make it. Like whatever you come up with, we'll just roll with that. And she made it, and I was like, bruh, this is amazing. How did you do that? I can't do something like that. Like for me, I can capture the piece. Like that's why I'm a photographer. I can capture it if it's there. But for me to just cut, like that's what's always fascinating me about artists. That's why I've always dated artists too. Like it's just something that I can't quite do, and I'm like, that's so attractive because I can't do it, and it's so cool. So I love
just
working with artists. It's amazing. Yeah, yeah. Everything about artists is cool.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. And I love that, that like you were saying with your art, with your photography, it's like you get the overall feeling, you're
Yeah,
trying to, but you're still evoking emotion and
sure,
feeling. It's just through the overall sense of the piece. Whereas I think
sure.
I try to do that too. But yeah, I drill down to like the tiny,
Yeah.
I love that. That's the stuff when I'm drawing those little tiny details, that's where I'm just like, the world just kind of melts away and I'm just
Mhm.
totally focused on creating these little
Yeah.
patterns and little things. And that's I think that's that flow state for me. I love that. So
Yeah.
yeah, we should totally we should do, I could imagine a really cool like black and white photo that you've taken with
Yeah.
some colorful elements just popping out like of whatever.
It'd be
Have
cool.
you ever used
Very
mental
cool.
canvas or seen mental canvas before? Have you heard
Mm-mm.
of it?
Nope.
So
What is it?
it's like you draw layers of 2D images and you can basically, it's almost like a infinite canvas. So you can scroll in and go, like you can have gates and you can have them on an angle and then
Oh,
you can scroll in through the gates and then there's the house, and so you can sort of see
I
like
love
the
that.
layers. So I can almost see like your, in my head I'm seeing like your black and white elements and my colorful elements, kind of
Yeah.
like almost like a story you can kind of go through.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
cool.
I
Yeah.
remember, when we were, like, doing a ton of TikTok lives, like, with all our friends, we were, like, literally every day there was someone having a
Yep.
TikTok thing. I remember one of the ideas that I always wanted to do was, how I talked about having the Joyage King be, like, a big umbrella thing, and I was like, "Man, I could have, like, a castle, like, a virtual castle with, like, my art being hung up as if it was, like, real contemporary art hung up in this, like, crazy cartoon animated castle world thing," and that's where I was like that's why I love your art style, because I was like, we have a lot of these friends with similar art styles. Like this would be the coolest collaboration thing if we could do this. Then we could hang up everyone else's art that like worked on it, and
That
just like those ideas of creativity is super cool. Now, probably if we or when we do that thing, whatever it ends up being, it probably would be one of the like a one of one. Like I definitely want to finish the access key collections and have all
Yep.
three of those out and good to go. And then once I do that, I'd be like, okay, like now it's time to branch off and get really creative and do some like one of ones every now and then with people. And it would probably be one of those because it would be like a super special collaborative one of one. We could do like a percentage goes to some kind of thing if we wanted to do that. We can incorporate a
Yep.
challenge with it. Like that'd be super fun.
That would be heaps cool. Yeah,
Hell
I'd
yeah.
love that. I'm
Hell
totally
yeah.
up for that. That'd be
Right on.
great. Yeah,
Right on.
let's talk.
Let's do it.
That would
Let's
be
do it.
really
And
cool.
and
You
while we
gotta do
bring
your
this,
thing. You've got to get
yeah,
yourself
yeah.
filmed. Yeah.
I was just
Yeah.
gonna say while we bring this sort of to a close, I had some like rapid fire Q&A questions if you still have time.
Ooh, okay.
Do you have time?
Let's go. Yeah.
Okay. All right, here we go. No, they're nothing crazy. These are all surface level as fuck. Some of them actually we could go deep if you wanted to. Well, we'll start off pretty surface level just for fun. This is
Okay.
this is actually a really interesting question I'd love to ask. Do you have any reoccurring dreams?
Yeah, I'm flying. But
Really?
I don't fly like this. I fly like I'm doing breaststroke. And I'm flying through my primary school. I don't
Really?
know what. Yeah, I'm
Whoa.
flying around my primary school. So yeah, I don't know why. I
Still,
don't
you
know what
still
that
have that.
means. Yep, I've had that multiple times.
Wow.
And there's kids around. So there's kids that I know, but
Mhm.
like that were kids when I was a kid, and they're there, and I'm kind of like almost showing off, but I'm like flying. And yeah, so flying around my school or flying above my school. I don't know what that is about the
That's
school
very
connecting is, but
interesting.
yeah, flying like I've got it like a frog.
Is it nice? Is it a good dream or is
It's
it not a good
awesome.
dream?
Yeah,
Or
it's
you
the
do like
best
it?
dream. I'm like, "Oh," I wake up thinking like, "I can fly. I can actually really
Ah,
fly."
I
I'm
love that.
sure of it.
Yeah. Flying is one of my favorite. I would love to. That's my easily every time I get that question, like, would you rather have this or that or fly? It's always flying, except for
I'd
maybe
love
like
it.
potentially time travel. Like that would be really, really effective. That'd be really good to have time travel. But flying, I don't think I could beat flying.
Oh, yeah, flying. Imagine the places you could go, like, and just to be able to soar. Oh, I don't know, it'd just be
Yeah,
awesome just to
I
be
love
soaring.
skyscrapers. I love looking down on like when I'm in a plane and I look down at the earth. I just love that. I'm just like, wow, holy shit. Or if I'm on
It
top of a
spins you out.
hill and I'm looking down, I'm like, bro, what? How is this possible? Like, it's
I
a totally
know,
different
it spins you
perspective.
out. Totally
Yeah.
spins me out too. Like, yeah, I feel the same. But yeah, and when you came back to, what did you say? flying, or what was the other thing that you said? Oh, time travel.
Time travel.
Yeah, I don't think time travel would be for me. It'd be cool, but I'm too much of a, like, I ruminate. I think a lot about the past and what I should have changed, and what I said this thing, and so I don't think that would be healthy for me, because I just be constantly going back, replaying, going back, replaying, seeing if it changes things, and
making a different mistake right after you fix the first one.
Yep, and then going, oh shit, now I've got to go back and fix that. Like,
that is funny. That is funny.
Yeah. Sorry.
All right. That's really good. So I can give you my well, I don't really have this recurring dream anymore. I used to have, every now and then I'll have a flying one, which incorporates flying, and I love those. I wish I could lucid dream. I really wish I could. Someday I'll have the mental energy to give that my attention and master it, because I know a lot of people who can do it. Close friends too, where I was like, hey,
really?
Like, can you actually do this? Or are you like bullshitting me? Like, just tell me, so I don't have to think that you're doing it if you're not. And they're like, no, it's real. And I'm like, okay, I believe you. If this is real, I want to do that, because you could practice everything in a dream. You know, anything you want to do, you could practice it right there.
That is so cool. I can't do that. I'd love to do that. Although I will say I did have one dream once where I went to, this was again, I was in high school and I was stuck. Like, I remember thinking, because I wasn't that great at maths in school. And when something happened, I dreamt that I solved some sort of equation that I actually couldn't solve, like, in class. And so when I got back, and then when I woke up, I was like, I know how to do that now. Oh my God.
You actually solved it?
Yeah. I was like,
oh wow, that's impressive.
Okay, I know, I actually understand the process now. And then went back to school and was like, I got it. That's weird. That was a bit umi-gumi, I know, but that's weird. Yeah.
That's impressive. Effective right there. Effective dream.
Do that again. God, imagine that. Like, don't know how to do something, just go and dream about it, and then you wake up and you know how to do it.
Exactly. Okay, where's like your favorite place that you've gone, traveled to, versus where you have not gone yet that you want to go to?
Okay. Where I really want to go, I want to see Alaska. I don't know what it is about Alaska, or somewhere where I can just see the Northern Lights. I really want
Iceland. I feel like Iceland's got the most prominent like photos I see, right?
Yeah. So Iceland. Yeah. So I think you can. I think where else? Norway. I think you can see the Northern Lights. Like, anywhere kind of up. So that's any of those places I would love to go to. I'm not overly into cold weather. Like, I prefer warm, but it'd be so worth it just to see. Yeah.
I might move to Alaska at some point. So I've been to Alaska once. I really liked it. I like the cold. So yeah, I like the cold. I liked Alaska, and it might be something in the future. Like, right now, I like living in the city. I don't know what it is about like walking outside and just being like endless TV. It's like there's just something going on every 10 feet in the city. I like that. Versus like residential, you walk out, like there's the same, like grandma walking the same poodle every morning. Like it's just kind of like, I'm like, I've seen the same thing over and over again. So I like the city for that reason. But I also like think it'd be also cool to either like, maybe it'd be, instead of like buying a house out there, you'd maybe Airbnb it out every few months. You go and like go for a few days to another place where it's fun to just be out super secluded, like Alaska, you know, be out there in the middle of nowhere for a few days just to totally unplug.
Yeah, I want to go into like one of those igloos. You know, the igloos, like ice igloo hotels that you can stay in and you just can like look up, and that's my dream. I'm gonna do it. I will do it. But yeah, that's definitely where I want to go. And cool. and I also want to visit Greece.
Okay. Greece is beautiful. My friend Devin had his honeymoon out there. Beautiful.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, the Greek islands. Like, I just really want to go there.
So your favorite place you want to go to is cold, but you like the warm weather. Mine's hot, and I like the cold weather.
I'm a weirdo. Like, I love the warm weather. But yeah, I really want to I don't know, maybe I just want to explore both, you know. I think,
True.
Yeah.
True.
Cool.
Well, mine's Egypt. I want to see the pyramids. I've always wanted to see the pyramids. I just don't get it. I don't know how that's possible. I need to see them for myself. I need to I need to like have an inside guy too, an inside guy or girl who knows their way in, and I can get into places I shouldn't be able to get in, because that's like my dream, and I know that's where networking comes in. I'm like, someone I know will one day set me up with someone they know, and I'll be able to do some crazy shit in Egypt, which is like all my favorite movies as a kid were Egypt related or had pharaohs or gold or something like that. And like my favorite character or my favorite actor was always he played Ricochet O'Connell in The Mummy, which is why he was my favorite. He was just in all those movies, Journey to the Center of the Earth, The Mummy, and all these crazy action packed. He was always the hero dude, and so I think that's part of the reason I love those shows. But it's just like the fantastical nature of it. I've just always wanted to see Egypt, and their mythology is so intense, and there's so much like videos and movies that have been made with their mythology. And oh my god, I want to see Egypt so bad.
So cool. Yeah, for sure. I reckon that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd love to see the pyramids as well. I think it's super cool. And there's just the size of them. Just imagining, like, you can't kind of wrap your head
Yeah.
around it, can you? Like, you can see it in photos, but I think until you get there, you won't really get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Until you
No,
actually
definitely.
see them. So yeah, that's definitely got to be something to see for sure.
Yeah, it would be awesome. Okay, and then we have one deep question, and then we'll follow it up with a funny one after.
Okay.
Well, it can't be deep; doesn't have to be. All right. Do you
Okay.
have like a super low point that was just particularly tough to work through, or it just took way longer than you kind of were hoping it would take to work through that you remember?
Are you talking like in terms of sorry, I'm just reading these
I know
comments.
I saw this
It
comment.
is a dude with a dog head.
I can't say. Oh, he's probably referring to Anubis from the
Oh,
Egyptian mythology.
yes.
I probably have, to be honest. Like, I'm obsessed with Egypt. I love everything about Egypt, so I probably have. That's probably why I loved Yu-Gi-Oh, because it was based off Egyptian mythology.
That's awesome. Oh,
But
far out.
anyways,
Yeah. So, are you talking like in terms of just life in general?
yeah.
Yeah, definitely, and probably most recently. So, like, a few things kind of happened at once for me, and they're all circumstantial. So, but
Mhm.
I was already feeling like I changed jobs. I hurt my foot, so which stopped me from exercising, which completely messed with my head. And I actually think that was a
Yeah.
catalyst. So it was like I just kept going. I kept running and kept dancing on my heel that was really, really hurting for months, Cade, months. And I chose to ignore it. I was like, I'll just keep going. I'll be fine. I'll be right. And yeah, it turns out that it's not right. And I've actually now just pretty much stuffed it. So I've got like a tear in my heel. So I'm in a boot at the moment. So in a cam boot.
Are you
Yeah,
really?
I'm in a boot.
Oh my
So
god.
it's been so I had 8 weeks of rest, no boot, but just like orthotics and sneakers and no running, pretty much no exercise, which was
That's
depressing.
tough. Yeah.
That really made me realize, like,
That'll
oh my
fuck you
God, I
up.
really need it. Yeah. I totally need to exercise daily.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's almost like I kind of get depressed.
There's like multiple benefits to, like, I feel like even if you don't, like, for me, I need I need a place to go to, like,
Yeah.
spend time there and then come back to a home. Like, that whole process of me going somewhere else, spending X amount of time just working on my body and moving around and focusing on that, and then coming back home and showering and feeling refreshed. That, like, without that any day, I am fucked up. And that can be anything like this, but there's got to be something. Like, when I was working at home a lot, I noticed that when I would skip the gym or skip going out, I felt particularly awful about everything, just in general, about myself, about where I was headed. And I was like, man, as soon as I joined a gym, started going back and forth and being like, wow, that was really nice to get out and just, I don't know, get into a different state of mind for a little bit.
Totally. I think that's exactly what happened to me. Like, I was kind of running every day, and then
Mhm.
I would do like some sort of dance or some sort of cardio or, even weights or whatever at night. And I could still do the weights, but
Yeah.
like I was feeling really sorry for myself. I was like, well, if I can't run and I can't dance and I don't want to do anything at all, it's all
I feel
shit.
that.
It all sucks. I don't want to, like, it was just like I was fully having a tanty, like,
Yeah.
and and then so that kind of compounded like me doing a couple of things. So like changing jobs, that's not a problem. Like, I actually really like my job and I like my new job. They're great, but
Mhm.
it's learning new stuff, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And and it's challenging. So then, this is going to sound totally terrible, but getting a puppy kind of throws your life upside down in a way. Like,
Yeah.
seriously, like he is full on. So just all these things. And then my foot thing happened just after we got the puppy. So I was like, I can't even walk my dog, I can't even
Mm,
do the things I want to do. And then 8 weeks later, after all this rest, go back to only find out that the tear is getting better, but not getting better quick enough. So now I'm in a boot. So for 6 weeks.
damn.
But I have to say that I have found, after I got over my moping and eating my emotions and, going like, I don't want to do anything.
Yeah.
I sort of had a realization, and it actually came from a conversation I had with my brother. He was like, so Lisa, if you're not like, what are you doing because I'm like, oh, I'm not doing art. I'm not doing anything at the moment. And he's like, well, so if you're not doing your exercise, like, what are you doing during that time?
Yeah.
Are you doing your art? And I was like, no. And he's like, why not? And I was like, I don't know. I just don't want to do anything. And anyway, we had a really good chat. And a couple of things he said just really resonated with me that ordinarily I might not take very well. Like it's sort of like he just said to me like, Lisa, sounds to me like you're making some excuses, you know, like, and ordinarily I would have been like, well, stuff you, you know, like, no, I'm not, or I might have been hurt, but it actually wasn't. The way he delivered it was beautifully. He didn't just say, well, you're making excuses. He was just like, oh, it sounds like, you know, you might be making, don't let yourself spiral into, like he goes, because if you don't want to do that, then you don't want to do that. And next thing is you don't want to get out of bed. You don't want to go there. And I was like, actually, I really don't want to go there. And so we had this conversation and I don't know, something just clicked in my brain where I was like, actually, I have control. You know, I have control of my life. Okay, sure, I can't go running. I can't walk the dog and I can't dance, but I can do other things that can make me break a sweat. I can go and get the weights out. I can do, you know, I can do all the exercises that don't involve my feet. You know, like there are heaps of things that I can be doing. Even a wall sit, you know, will make me feel like, you know, just all that sort of stuff. So I got back into it. So now I'm doing all of that again. It's only been probably 3 weeks. So, you know, but it's amazing how quickly you lose your fitness too.
Yes. For me, I I usually don't have that much time and I end up like procrastinating stuff. And then like the way my schedule is right now, like I totally cut out groceries and like and cooking anything because groceries has gone up like 400%. I'm literally spending way more money on food. And I was like, okay, this is stupid. I don't even eat more than once a day anyway for like a big meal. And I was like, I'm just going to start eating Chipotle. It's like $14 to $15 a day total. I pretty much just eat that. So like maybe average 17 a day. And I'm like, that's still like less than I'm paying for groceries a week. And I was like, wait, I'm just going to do this. I don't have to think about cooking, cleaning, storing, walking to the grocery store, coming back from the city, totally cut it out. But because of that, I usually eat at like 4. And like, if I don't get to there by 4 or 5, then like it gets too busy. It takes forever to get the food. So like I try and get to the gym before and I'm usually rushing. And I was like, okay, like how can I get the most out of the gym without like skipping out and like, you know, getting out early kind of thing and like feeling like I cheated myself. And I just started like really going super hard per set. Like I would be like, okay, the only thing on earth that matters is these next 6 reps and they need to happen. I need to get all 6. And like, I'm like super hard at the end of the 6. I'm like, okay, next exercise, right? Do like 2 sets or whatever. And like, you know, I'm in and out like usually like 40 minutes or so, which is way faster than I used to work out, usually like an hour and a half. But you know, if I do an hour and a half or 40 minutes, you know, if the hour and a half I go, it's probably not as intense versus the 40 minutes super intensity. But I found that I feel the same basically at the end of the workout. I'm like, I'm okay. And so it's been good to kind of focus on that for a little bit. And you know, it's tough when you can't exercise though. I mean, that really fucks you up.
I know. Yeah. Mentally, it's just mentally like, and then you sort of like catch yourself in this cycle of like, oh, okay, well, I can't do that. And then you start to kind of slide downhill and then you're like, well, I'm just going to eat all the crap in the house. And then, oh no, now I can't fit in my pants. Oh no. So, you know, it's just like this cycle of like, oh, I just, feeling worse and worse and worse and worse. So I just had to step back and go, okay, so I do have control here. I can't do everything I want to do. I will eventually get back to that. But don't lose the momentum like of doing exercise and stuff now. Just do other things. And, you know, even though I used to think, oh, I don't really love weights, but I'm actually really enjoying it. I'm actually enjoying it now, you know, like I do feel like totally stuffed after a workout with weights or, you know, even just using your own body weight for things, you know, it's just amazing. Like, so I'll get there again. But so that's pretty much, it just took me having a few conversations. I think I needed to go through the process. I needed to feel sorry for myself.
Right.
And then I needed to feel angry about it. It was almost like grieving. And then I needed to just pull myself together and go, right, just fix it. Just do it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And plus, every time you survive one of these like big like moments that you're having, you know, like crisis mode for a little bit, at least for me, it's come very like in front of me that like even if you have to go through a period of time, like how you just said, you have to go through this period and that period to get to the next one where you're ready to start making changes. Yeah, there are like I've had that kind of situation happen multiple times in my life. For a lot of us, like a lot of things have happened where things didn't go quite right, and you had to go through a period of time, maybe of punishment or like have to fix something or whatever. And in the end, like I can't even remember most of them. So I'm like, okay, like chances are this is just like, even if it's 8 weeks or like 3 months or even like a year, I'm like, okay, but like I have like 100 years and I have like hundreds of months in my life. So like maybe like this 2 to 4 week little shitty time in my life or really unproductive time, it just isn't that big of a deal, honestly. And it's hard to get out of the mentality because like we grew up with school and like every day mattered because there's always a test around the corner. And like if you do miss a week, it does matter. And I think we're kind of set up to fail, set up to fail a little bit. But that's the power of content. That's the power of like people talking about it. It's like, oh, there isn't just one way to make it through. There's plenty of people who have found other ways.
That's right. Yeah, absolutely. There isn't just one way. And you're right. Like I'll look back in 10 years and I'll think, what? Oh yeah, remember when I had to wear that boot? You know, I won't, I won't think like, oh God, that was so hard. And I might look back and go, yeah, that sucked a little bit. But as you said, you've got all these years and just having this little bit of time, and I'm better to focus on getting better now than just keep going and going, because I'll just prolong it and then I'll be worse off in 2 or 3 years because I really would have done some serious damage that would require surgery. So, it's better to get onto it now and just deal with this little sucky time, and then it'll get better.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
and look, we just talked about so much stuff. NFTs, NFT art. We actually crushed that topic. We went way more in depth and talked about it more than I thought we would. So very happy for that, for people who are watching. And then we talked about life, sales, business, the Web3 world, potential of where we're going. And then we just crushed it on the life advice here. So there's only one question that could potentially sum everything up into one beautiful finishing question. And that is, what is your favorite food chain?
My favorite food chain. Oh my God, that's a great question. I might have somewhere that you don't know because I'm in Australia. I'm just trying to think. Okay, you won't know this one.
All right, one Australian, and if you have an American one or like some kind of generic one, we'll do both.
This one is started and it's actually only in the city that I live in, and it's a chain here. It's called Kingsley's Chicken, and it's like guy name whatever Kingsley started it, and it's just different because they just make these chips and gravy. Oh my God, it's so good.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it's so good.
Oh boy. Wait, I've heard of that. Wait, hold on. Chips and gravy, right? Wait, is that French fries for us when you say chips?
So we call them chips here, like hot chips. So like French fries, but with this gravy.
Okay. Really someone someone literally told me about that the other day at the restaurant. It's some kind of dish, and it has French fries with gravy, and then one other thing, I forget what it was, but that's crazy that you just said that.
Oh wow.
Interesting.
Oh wow.
Very interesting. Maybe it was someone that was from Australia or something. Like maybe it was Cameron. I don't know. I'm not sure.
It might have been. Yeah, maybe. And so one that you would probably know, I'm just trying to think.
It's like Chick-fil-A, Chipotle, McDonald's, In-N-Out, Steak and Shake, Shake Shack.
We don't have Steak and Shake or In-N-Out. Like, what are even
Taco Bell, McDonald's. There's I'm just like listing off a bunch that I know of. I don't know, or maybe like a favorite food. Like a favorite like dish style thing, potentially too.
I'm a big fan of. I struggle to go past tacos.
Really?
And I struggle to also go past nachos or however you want to say it in America. But yeah. So anything like Mexican, I love that. Yeah. We have not Tex-Mex. What do we have here? We do have Tex-Mex. We've got a business called Zambrero. Do you have that in America? Zambrero?
But honestly, in America, there's not that many chains. It's all like family owned restaurants. So there's all like variations. Like there's Los Diablos, there's Los Reyes, there's El Dorado. Like they're all like versions of the same thing, basically.
Okay. So so it would be like the Mexican stuff. So I love like burritos. I love
tequila.
I love nachos. I love all that sort of stuff with any of that.
You into those margaritas, Lisa? You've been drinking those Margarita Monday?
We used to, Cade, if you'd met me 20 years ago, oh my gosh, buddy, I used to drink fish bowls of margaritas.
Oh my God.
We had this place where you'd raise a little flag on the table and it'd been like, I'm ready to order. And they come over and they had the biggest selection of margaritas. It was a Mexican restaurant. And I'm not joking, they were like fish bowl size. So
that's awesome.
Used to love
that
those.
Is awesome. Salt rimmed, sugar rimmed, nothing?
Yep. Salt.
Which one? Salt. True. Classic.
Yeah.
Classic. Love that. Mine's probably, I'm trying to think I definitely love Mexican food too. My best friend Devin, his family owns one, so we used to go there like all the time, like multiple times a week and get food there. And what else do I like? I do really enjoy sushi. I wouldn't say I crave sushi like a lot, but I definitely will not say no. If someone says let's go sushi, I'm like, okay, let's go. But I don't know, it's probably gonna be Chipotle. Like I go there every day. My mom was like, no way you still like it. I'm like, ma'am, I like love the same foods. I pretty much ate the same thing when I was doing groceries anyway. Once I find something I like, I'm good to go. I can eat the same shit for a long time, and I really like Chipotle.
I love that.
So it looks like we're stuck at Mexican. We can't get past it.
No, it's too good.
Well, that's too good. Too good. Well, anyways, guys, if you're watching this especially if you've been here since the beginning, appreciate you. Click that like button, subscribe to the channel, and all her stuff's down below in the description. Her artwork, her TikTok, all the stuff. It's all in that one link. So just click that. You can find all her shit. Do you have anyone you want to like shout out now that we come to an end? Shout out or bring to attention or anything like that?
In terms of
say hi to
NFT space,
anything, anybody.
I think I just want to give a shout out to the OGs in this space. Like I want to, like, and that includes you and Sydney and Katie and Eliza and Charles and like and you know, Turtleneck. Like where's Turtleneck? All those sort of people that were all there at the beginning, and even the people that are still around in whatever form, you know what I mean? Like some people may have sort of pivoted away from NFTs and they'll be doing other stuff in the creativity, in the creative space. So just any of those OGs that are around and that I first connected with, you'll always kind of all still, I don't know, have my heart. You know what I mean? Like I'll always come back.
Hell yeah. Shout out to all the OGs, all the people who are still here. Also, if you're happen to be a builder or some kind of artist, someone trying to put something together and you like this conversation, check out my website, joyagekingdom.com. Offer a whole lot of things over there. And I have a link tree as well if you guys want to check my stuff out. But definitely go check out Lisa's especially because now that we know that one NFT is sitting there on the floor, that's just waiting to be sniped. So make sure you're not late because someone's going to snipe it before you. But anyways, guys, thank you for being here. Until next time, continue on your Joyage, continue to learn. Be grateful you're live watching this video. Lisa, thanks for coming on. This was lit.
Thank you, Kay.